And this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at mysterious crop formations, from the Chilbolton Observatory incident to encoded messages from outer space. Join us as we take a look at 10 crop circles that have left authorities baffled.
This crop circle was found in Hampshire, England on the 17th of July 1997. It's of particular note as it's the first known crop circle to depict an insect, in this case an ant. The ant crop circle became so famous that copycat hoaxers have tried replicating the design in various fields around the world, but none come close to the intricate and precise nature of the original. Researcher Jonah O'Have claims to have visited as many as 60 crop formation sites, but ranks this one among his favourites. This enormous crop formation appeared on the 7th of August 2009 in southern Holland. It depicts a modified version of Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. The man in the centre of the image has outstretched arms that span into delicate butterfly wings. The imprint is incredibly large, measuring 530 metres by 450 metres. Some analysts believe this crop circle represents a shift in human consciousness. However, they're baffled as to how this crop circle was created. The sheer scale and dimension of the piece is enormous, and considering that it appeared overnight, it's left many people scratching their heads. This crop circle is considered by many researchers to be one of the finest ever documented. Discovered on the morning of July 23, 1997, this crop formation has such intricate detail that it's left farmers in the area stunned. The formation represents a Koch snowflake, a complex fractal design created by Swedish mathematician Helge von Koch. The centre of the pattern has a large section of flattened wheat. The crop has been compressed in such a way that the image has a three-dimensional aspect to it. First-hand witnesses reported that the floor pattern of the crop looked like water. It had a strange fluidity to it. Individual blades of the crop were layered underneath one another, with each section changing direction to define the 6 individual arms of the pattern. Who or what could create such a sophisticated design in such a short period of time? This intricate crop circle appeared overnight in August 2016 in a field of wheat in Wiltshire, UK, with no evidence of construction. The stunning design measures 100 metres, which is around 330 feet, spanning 2 acres and features 20 unique symbols. It was discovered early Friday morning in what's known as a crop circle hotspot on the county borders of Wiltshire and Dorset. Analysts were quick to point out the striking resemblance to the logo of American bong manufacturer Mothership Glass. The central leaf motif and outer emblems have all appeared in some form in the company's marketing. Locals said it was one of the most impressive crop formations to have appeared in the region in years. The owner of the field, Karen Price, said she had never seen anything like it before, and insisted she had no idea how the pattern was created. She noted how busy the farm normally is, saying, "There are people out in the fields around here all the time, working, harvesting and picking, so nobody would have particularly noticed anyone working in the field." Hugh Newman, an ancient histories researcher, documented the crop circle with a drone. He said it was one of the most remarkable formations he'd ever seen, and while there were similarities to Mothership Glass's logo, it's still a spectacular piece of art. Was this crop formation created by an enamoured Mothership Glass user, or was it perpetrated by the company themselves? Here's an example of a non-mysterious human-made crop circle that was publicly documented for a shameless bit of promotion. The Firefox crop circle was created by Mozilla Video interns in August 2006 in an oat field in Amity, Oregon. The enormous 67 metre, which is around 220 feet formation, was planned in 2 weeks and executed in just under 24 hours. A team of 12 people stomped out the pattern from 3:30 PM to 2:30 AM, with some final preparations completed at 11 AM the following morning. The crop was in rural farmland, making the pattern practically invisible on ground, but unmissable from the air. This well-documented formation is a great example that crop circles can be made with remarkable speed and precision by just a handful of people. In 1974, scientists sent the Arecibo message into outer space. The encoded broadcast contained basic information about Earth and human life, like the numbers 1 to 10, DNA sequencing, and a map of our solar system. This message was intended to be received by extraterrestrials. In 2001, a startling series of crop circles began appearing next to the Chilbolton Observatory in Stockbridge, UK. One formation seemed to show a humanoid face, while the other represented the binary broadcast of the Arecibo message. However, certain parts of the message had been altered. Instead of information about human DNA and our solar system, the modified message contained data detailing a different star system and something else's genetic makeup. Was the Arecibo message received by aliens as intended, and have they broadcast this modified version back to Earth in an effort to make first contact? This distinct crop circle appeared in August 2002 in a field near Winchester in Hampshire, UK. The formation depicts a large grey alien face with a disc shape on the right. When cryptologists analysed the image, they realised that the circle was actually binary code that had an encrypted message embedded in it. The message reads, "Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain but still time. Believe. There is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. Bell sound." Skeptics have noted that the alien face is too familiar looking, almost like a cartoon depiction of aliens. They've also pointed out, while the message is in binary, it's a very simple message, one that doesn't seem to match the prowess of a race of interstellar travellers. Others think that perhaps the message was created by a covert government organisation that is privy to top secret information regarding alien life. Whatever the case may be, this formation remains one of the most mysterious crop circles ever discovered and continues to baffle authorities even today. This is one of the largest crop circles ever discovered, and it has officials baffled. Discovered in Milk Hill, a rural area of Wiltshire, UK, this enormous formation spans 238 metres, which is around 780 feet. It features 409 circles which form what's known as a triskelion, a pattern of 3 interlocking spirals. The ancient symbol has been noted in several cultures across the world, dating back thousands of years. When the owner of the crop first discovered the creation, he was stunned at what he saw. The formation is so intricate and detailed, he was certain he would have seen someone or something in the field the night it was created. The crop pattern is so large that it took researchers more than half an hour just to find the centre of it. Crop circle enthusiasts, or croppers as they're often referred to, regard the Milk Hill discovery as one of the finest examples of an inexplicable field formation. It is often cited in documentaries and has perplexed the community since 2001. This is one of the most puzzling crop circles ever discovered. In July 1996, this enormous pattern was discovered in a field adjacent to the famous Neolithic monument Stonehenge. The imprint is an intricate fractal design known as a Julia set, a combination of complex numbers that don't converge to any limit. The curious thing about this crop circle is the way it seemed to appear out of nowhere in broad daylight. Stonehenge, which is just metres from the discovery, has a near constant stream of tourists and is under 24-hour watch by security guards. No one reported seeing any activity in the neighbouring field. The A303 highway slices right between the field and Stonehenge. Motorists travel the busy road day and night, yet no one witnessed any activity in the field. Several drivers did, however, report an unusual mist hanging in the meadow. Stranger still, busy nearby Thruxton Airport often runs tourist flights over Stonehenge. On the day of discovery, a pilot claims he was flying over Stonehenge late Sunday afternoon and didn't notice anything unusual in the fields below. Just 45 minutes later, on his return run, he spotted the enormous 274 metre, which is around 900 feet, shape below. This suggests that someone or something managed to create the elaborate crop circle in plain sight in under 45 minutes without any witnesses whatsoever. This crop circle has been hailed as the most complex formation ever discovered in the UK. This nuanced pattern was imprinted into a field of barley in 2008 in Wiltshire. As usual, the mysterious shape appeared overnight with little to no evidence as to how it got there. Crop circles often appear near ancient monuments and tend to have very complex mathematical codes embedded into their structure. This one was spotted near Barbary Castle, an Iron Age hill fort above Wroughton Wilts. When the crop circle was examined by astrophysicists, they were dumbfounded by what they saw. The formation is 45 metres wide, which is around 150 feet, and has the first 10 digits of pi coded into the pattern. Michael Reed, the astrophysicist sent to investigate the formation, said, "The 10th digit has even been correctly rounded up. The little dot near the centre is the decimal point. The code is based on 10 angular segments, with radial jumps being the indicator of each segment. Starting at the centre and counting the number of 1/10 segments in each section contained by the change in radius clearly shows the value of the first 10 digits in the value of pi." How is it that such a precise and intricate design can be imprinted into a field within a matter of hours without any witnesses? Even if it was formed by humans, the genius and craftsmanship required to create such a geometric composition is boggling. Love to hear your thoughts on how it was made in the comments section below.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you're enjoying our content, remember to share it across social media, hit that upward facing thumb, or leave us a comment down below. We love reading them. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some creepy photos. From a photograph of the ghost of Jim Morrison to a mysterious picture of a sea monster. Join us as we take a look at 10 photos that simply shouldn't exist.
In 1999, a man from London spotted a UFO in the sky above his home. When he went outside to investigate, he saw several small humanoid creatures foraging around his backyard. He managed to capture a series of photos of the creatures, including this one, that seems to show one of the creatures shielding its eyes from the camera flash. Then, in this image, 3 strange lights can be seen in the sky as 2 of the creatures appear to be communicating with each other. The one on the left looks to be pointing towards the photographer. Could this just be children playing a prank, or was this man really visited by aliens? In 1997, American rock historian Brett Meisner asked his assistant to take a photograph of him standing next to the grave of the legendary Doors frontman Jim Morrison. The grave, located at the Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris, is a popular tourist attraction with many fans visiting daily. Meisner initially forgot about the photo, and it wasn't until 5 years later that he found it again. Looking at the picture, Meisner noticed something very strange about the photo. In the background, there appeared to be another figure standing on top of the steps. The image quickly spread across the internet, with many claiming that the ghostly figure seen in the picture was none other than Jim Morrison himself. When doubt was cast on the validity of the image, Meisner agreed to have it examined. Experts agreed that both the photo and the negative had not been tampered with in any way, nor was there any evidence that the figure was a result of exposure or light manipulation. To this day, the figure in the photo remains a mystery. This photo was taken by a woman who began noticing strange occurrences around her house that seemingly had no explanation. She decided to set up a computer camera and leave it running. When she reviewed the footage, it appeared to have captured a dark figure in the middle of her lounge room. Did she capture what is commonly known as a shadow person, shadowy creatures that are said to lurk on the edge of human sight? Thousands of witnesses have claimed to have seen them, and sightings are apparently more common by those who are sleep deprived. Some believe that these mysterious creatures could be another species of life that simply move too fast for the human eyes to see. Others think that these strange beings are somehow linked to the spirit world. So next time you have that creepy feeling you're being watched but you think no one is around, maybe it's a shadow person lurking in the darkness. This photo of a young married couple was taken in 1942 in Jasper, Alabama. At first glance, it doesn't seem to show anything unusual. When the photo is enlarged, however, you can see clearly what appears to be a haggard old woman in the tree over the woman's shoulder. She seems to be lunging towards the couple with an outstretched arm. Has the photographer captured some sort of ghost or demon lurking within the branches of the tree, just waiting for a chance to attack unsuspecting visitors? What do you think the creature captured in this photo could be? This photo was taken by a woman from Rhode Island on her cell phone. It's of her 22-month-old niece who she was babysitting at the time. When she looked at the photo, she was shocked to see the disembodied head of an old lady in the left-hand corner of the image. The woman swears there was no one else in the house at the time the photo was taken. Sometime later, the woman was rummaging through old photographs and stumbled across one of her deceased great-grandmother. Thinking she'd seen that face before, she remembered the photo that she had taken of her niece months earlier. To her shock, the woman staring over the shoulder of the little girl looked almost identical to her great-grandmother. This image is a still from a video that surfaced online in mid-2016. The footage, supposedly shot in a Portuguese desert, shows a tall, ogre-like creature slowly meandering along a path before it disappears into a bush. The video quickly gained more than 200,000 views as people began debating whether the footage was real or not, and what the creature might actually be. Some believe it may be similar to the South American chupacabra, the cryptid believed to be responsible for killing hundreds of goats, leaving their bodies completely drained of blood. Others believe it could be a distant cousin of the North American Bigfoot, the ape-like humanoid that is said to roam the woods of the Pacific Northwest. This photo was taken by actor and recording artist Ike Clanton at the Boot Hill Graveyard in Tombstone, Arizona. Clanton, who was related to the infamous Clanton gang that did battle with Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday at the OK Corral, took a photo of his friend at the cemetery posing in 1880s period clothing. He deliberately took a black and white photo to give it an authentic Old West feel. When he had the image developed, he couldn't believe what he saw. Over his friend's shoulder, there appears to be a man wearing a dark hat buried up to his waist among the graves. Clanton insisted that there was no one else in the area at the time the photo was taken. To make the story even creepier, Clanton believes the man is actually holding a large knife. When asked about the photo, he said, "We thought this was a tie at first, but after further review it appears to be a knife. The knife is in a vertical position, the tip is located just below the figure's right collar." While this photo has been around for a while, no one has been able to prove who or what the mysterious figure is. What do you think? Camera trick, or has Clanton captured a ghost of a restless cowboy rising from the grave? This photo of a young hunter was supposedly taken somewhere in Australia. The photo shows a man holding a gigantic grasshopper in one hand that he supposedly shot and killed while hunting in the outback. The image first appeared in an Australian magazine in 1937, along with an article claiming that the hunter had shot the world's largest grasshopper. Recently, someone came forward on the internet claiming that the photo was of their grandpa and that it was actually taken in eastern Montana. They said that while he was out hunting one day, he was approached by an unknown photographer. The photographer asked the man to hold out his empty left hand while posing with his gun. He then snapped a few pictures and left. If the image has been doctored in some way, the person has done a remarkable job. Remember, this photo was taken long before Photoshop was even invented. What do you think? Is this an actual photo of a gigantic Australian grasshopper, or has the image somehow been manipulated? This creepy photo was taken at the Crumlin Road prison in Northern Ireland. The man inside the coffin posed for the photo as a prank, but when he saw it, he quickly realised that the camera had captured more than just a joke. To the side of the man's head, you can clearly see the face of someone else lying in the coffin behind him. Today, the prison is a tourist attraction, however it was once the scene of many gruesome executions, murders and suicides. This photo was reported to have been taken near cell 13, the cell where prisoners would spend their last night before being sent to the gallows. What do you think? Has this picture captured the ghostly face of a past inmate? Let us know in the comments section below. This photo was taken by Frenchman Robert Le Serec on the 12th of December 1964. Serec and his family were staying on Hook Island off the coast of Queensland, Australia, in a group of islands known as the Whitsundays. While crossing the bay in a small boat, Serec's wife noticed what appeared to be a large tadpole-like creature lying on the bottom of the sand, which they estimated to be between 75 and 80 feet in length. Thinking that the creature was dead, Serec and family friend Hank de Jong decided to jump into the water and film the beast. To their surprise, the creature opened its mouth and began swimming towards them. By the time the pair made it back to the boat, the mysterious beast had swam away. Sarek described the creature as having eyes on the top of its head with pale slit-shaped pupils. Its body was smooth and it had no visible fins or spines. He claimed that the creature also appeared to be injured and may have been seeking refuge in the shallow lagoon to recover. Since the photo surfaced, many have claimed it to be a hoax. The most popular dismissal is that it's a clever Photoshop job. However, the photo was taken in 1964 and a detailed account was written up by zoologist Bernard Heuvelmans in 1968, so it's not possible that Photoshop was used. Several other theories exist, including the idea that it could have been a giant swamp eel. However, eels rarely grow larger than 1 meter. Other theories suggested that it could have been a school of fish or a sunken weather balloon. Some believe it could have been a hoax perpetrated by Sarek using a large piece of plastic sheeting weighed down by sand. To this day, no one has been able to definitively explain the mysterious creature captured in this photo. While Sarek didn't manage to film the beast, he did manage to capture these 2 additional images along with the famous image we've been looking at previous. What do you think? Did Sarek photograph an as yet undiscovered sea creature, or was it something else?
Bonus time! So we're doing another awesome t-shirt giveaway. To get your Piglety mittens on one of these awesome tees, all you have to do is head on over to Instagram and like our page. At the top of our feed, you'll see this photo. In the comments section of that photo, leave the hashtag GimmeGimmeGimme. That'll put you into the running to win one of these awesome t-shirts. So what are you waiting for? Head on over, like our page, and good luck. Well, those photos were just a little bit terrifying. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of the episode. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you've been around for a little while, smash that upward facing thumb. Leave us a comment down below. We love reading them. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at shocking UFO sightings caught on tape. From a bizarre rectangle UFO floating over China to some footage captured by the Chilean Navy that's left experts dumbfounded. Join us as we take a look at 10 UFO sightings you need to see.
This striking footage emerged in August 2017, filmed by several residents in Jinan, the capital of China's eastern province, Shandong. There in the sky is a bizarre rectangle shape hovering above the clouds. 2 separate cameras captured the same sighting, as well as numerous residents all saying they saw the same shape flying in the sky. When the footage was posted on August 13, many took to Weibo, a social media site in China, to discuss the incident. Some say it was the door to heaven opening up, while others thought it looked like a glowing magic carpet. According to local reports, the phenomenon may have just been spotlights projecting onto the clouds in the night sky. While it does look very similar to a spotlight, normally you can detect a trail of light to the point of origin. This looks to be illuminated from behind an object. Whatever the case may be, it makes for an amazing piece of footage that still remains a mystery today. On a warm Tuesday morning on the 21st of February 2017, a UFO passed over Tasmania, Australia. The object looked like it was on fire as it streaked across the sky. Filmed by hundreds of eyewitnesses, the strange glowing object sparked fierce online debate. In the video, we see a bright yellow streak trailing in the morning sky. It looks like it's a flame, almost like a meteorite entering the atmosphere. When the video was shared to Facebook, it garnered thousands of views within days. Many polarizing theories were suggested, from space junk, fireball meteorites and contrails to fairies and alien visitors. Official reports said the incident was nothing more than an aircraft as it passed over Australian airspace. However, this did little to satiate witness theories, with many heralding the incident as aliens visiting from outer space. This mass UFO sighting occurred on July 23, 2011 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The incident was reported by dozens of eyewitnesses and even caught the attention of a local news report. Up to 4 separate pieces of footage were publicly released, all capturing the same strange circular shape floating in the sky. In the first video, we see a blue orb of light surrounded by a wheel of smaller rotating white lights. Skeptics have noted that the grainy footage may be nothing more than a Ferris wheel filmed by a tilted camera. However, in the second eyewitness's video, we see the same orbiting lights from a different angle. This perspective shows the object from the side. The rotating lights seem to form a disc shape. This angle makes it easier to see that the lights are floating in the sky. If we take a look at the third piece of footage, it shows the object has stopped spinning and is now all white. The interesting thing about this viewpoint is that the camera zooms out, showing that the UFO is actually really far away, becoming just a single dot when fully zoomed out. Finally, the fourth eyewitness's footage is different again. This time the object seems to have formed a triangular formation with a blue and green hue. This is some bizarre footage that was uploaded to YouTube back in 2007. For this video, we used the literal sense of the acronym UFO, as in it's an unidentified flying object. It's not necessarily alien in origin, but it's a flying craft of a speculative nature. In the clip, we see a man flying around in a small craft, not much larger than an average-sized wheelie bin. It has a fan jet engine on the bottom and has 2 landing feet similar to a helicopter. The video states that the craft is known as a WASP, an experimental vertical takeoff and landing system developed in the 1970s under the supervision of the US military. It can fly for 30 to 45 minutes at a maximum speed of 97 kilometers or around 60 miles per hour, with a vertical flying limit of 3,000 meters, which is around 10,000 feet. According to sources, the military discontinued the development of the aircraft as they deemed it inferior to helicopters and craft at the time. In January 2017, striking footage emerged out of Salento, Italy. A local man noticed something strange in the sky at around 8 PM local time. He filmed the bizarre object with his smartphone. In the video, we see a bright white light hovering in the night sky. The mysterious UFO seems to change colour from white to green. At one point, it even transforms into a halo shape right before vanishing completely. The video is believed to be genuine and hasn't been manipulated in any way. It was posted to Facebook by Lucio Margiotta, a music teacher at the Music Academy of Salento. He was astonished at what he had captured, saying, "I don't know what it was, but it's very strange." Opinions on the footage vary greatly. Some commentators thought that perhaps the smartphone that the clip was filmed on distorted the image when it zoomed in, creating that strange halo effect. Others thought it could be Venus. Another user heralded the footage as the arrival of the sphere beings, creatures from another planet that he says visit him frequently. Whatever the case may be, it's still an amazing piece of footage. Could it be that aliens are observing our planet, or is this just a technological malfunction? Love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. There's not a lot of solid information to go on with this clip. It began appearing on YouTube in 2015. It claims to be filmed somewhere in Hawaii, however several channels report different dates for the sighting. In the video, we see a large cylinder-shaped white UFO floating in the sky. Around the center object are half a dozen or so flashing lights. They pulse in and out of sight, darting here and there in the blue sky. The bigger object begins to move downward before flashing out of view. The other objects continue to pulse before darting quickly to the right of screen. It's hard to make further comment on this video as there's very little else to go on. The person who captured the footage has never come forward, plus the differing dates and lack of precise location err this footage on the side of a hoax. If anyone has any information on this footage, leave a comment down below. This astonishing footage baffled government officials for more than 2 years and was officially released to the public in early 2017. This clip was filmed on November 11, 2014 by a Chilean Navy helicopter pilot. An accompanying technician also witnessed the event and was at the time testing an infrared camera. In the footage, we see a disc-shaped object trailing across the sky. It flies at a similar altitude and trajectory of the helicopter. At 2 separate times, the UFO discharges a trail of hot liquid. The object could be seen by the naked eye and by infrared camera. However, the helicopter's radar detected no nearby craft. After the technician reported the sighting, air traffic control confirmed that there was no aircraft planned to fly in that airspace at that time, nor could they detect anything flying at that time. The pilot made several attempts to contact the craft using the multinational civilian bandwidth, which is designed for these occasions. There was no answer. An official investigation was launched by the CEFAA, a specialised Chilean government agency which examines UFOs and UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. After an exhaustive inquiry, the agency couldn't come to any definite conclusions. This footage is considered to be some of the most significant UFO footage ever captured. The two highly reliable Navy witnesses, the quality footage filmed on military-grade equipment, the fact that it goes for 9 minutes all amounts to some of the most compelling evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials. This footage was captured in mid-2016 by a pilot flying over Chicago, Illinois. In the video, we see 3 glowing balls of light. They fly in a triangle formation right next to the plane. The 3 orbs shift about in the air effortlessly before taking off at great speeds towards the bottom of the screen. The maneuverability of the objects is far too agile for it to be other commercial aircraft or even military fighter jets. Reactions to this viral video vary, from reflections on the window, weather phenomenon and lightning, to angels and enlightened flying beings. What do you think this pilot has captured? Could this be proof of aliens from another planet? In early 2011, 2 motorists in Sao Paulo, Brazil captured this startling footage of a UFO hiding behind a cloud. Submitted to a local TV station, G1, the video garnered significant media attention. In the clip, we see a floating object just behind a cloud. It holds there for around 60 seconds before taking off in a dazzling light display. The 2 witnesses were gobsmacked at the incident. According to the TV report, the cameraman felt the earth shake the moment the UFO flashed out of sight. However, there was no recorded seismic activity at the time the event took place. Skeptics claim if you analyse frames of the footage, right as the truck passes in the clip, there are noticeable alterations that aren't visible to the naked eye. However, the 2 eyewitnesses maintain the authenticity of the footage. A mass UFO sighting occurred in the skies over Cornwall, England in July 2017. Numerous people captured footage of a strange shape-shifting object hovering in the sky. The phenomena happened over several days, with dozens of witnesses reporting the event. The first sighting occurred on Monday, July 18th, when surfer Kiefer Krishnan posted his footage to Instagram. Photographer Shane House was the second to come forward with amazing footage of the object hovering above the A30 freeway. The UFO seems to shimmer in and out of visibility against the cloudy English sky. Next, a Twitter user by the name of Harry Wild posted his version of events on Fistral Beach. Again, the same strange shimmering shape floating through the sky. Many responded to the tweet, noting that it looked like a swarm of birds or insects drifting through the air. 3 more sightings occurred on the Tuesday, all showing the exact same object in the sky. Many news outlets around England were quick to point out that the footage may be a planned hoax orchestrated by a local conservationist initiative. The Eden Project is a series of gigantic greenhouse domes that have exotic plants and various exhibitions in Cornwall. At the time of the UFO sightings, the Eden Project was hosting an event called Alien Encounter. While they never officially owned up to the publicity stunt, it seems likely that they were the culprits.
Hello. Fam, how you all doing? I just wanted to let you know, last week I sat down with Tim from Super Mayhem and he interviewed me about my life, my gaming habits, and whether I like to be chained or whipped. If you want to find out the answer to that question, you can find a link to the interview in a description box below. One should pop up right here now as well. Check it out, it's a lot of fun. Well, there's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying our content, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, remember to subscribe because we do stuff like this each and every week. And that's it from me. I'll see you all next time. Pew!
Slap 10 paranormal sightings caught on camera. From a possible skunk ape sighting to an Area 51 with an alien, join us as we take a cautious peep at 10 paranormal sightings caught on camera. And today we have very special guest Countdown King Danger Dolan to help us out with the list.
Ghost scares dog. In 2008, a man began experiencing some strange things going on in his house. Every day after coming home from work, he noticed that the door to his attic had been opened. He decided to set up a camera in his living room to see what was going on. First, his radio plays some eerie noises as it picks up interference. A few moments later, a cupboard door begins opening and closing by itself. Then a roll of kitchen paper flies off the coffee table. The men's dogs begin looking off camera, clearly unsettled by what's going on.
In 2015, a floating city appeared in Foshan in the Guangdong province of China. Thousands of eyewitnesses saw this phenomena hovering in the sky. The footage was so striking it even made the Chinese news. After the video went viral, many theories began to spring up. Some say it's part of a top-secret operation called Project Bluebeam, a NASA-funded initiative. The technology can reportedly project holograms which could be used to stage alien invasions or visions of religious figures. Others have speculated that it's a door to an alternate reality that opened up for a period of time, allowing stunned onlookers to have a glimpse into another world. This isn't the first time this has happened either. This footage was taken in 2011 in Huangshan City in China's eastern Anhui province. The footage is even more vivid than the first, clearly showing a detailed city floating in the clouds. Scientists and other level-headed folk waded into the discussion, claiming that the phenomena is an optical illusion known as Fata Morgana. This complex mirage occurs when light is distorted through air layers of different temperatures. This does seem like a plausible explanation, however Fata Morgana normally occurs at a clear horizon point in polar regions, at sea or in the desert. This image is an example of Fata Morgana. In this photo, taken off the coast of Queensland, Australia, it looks as though the boat is hovering above the water. It's far in the distance with a clear horizon line. The footage taken in China was in the middle of a city at an angle too sharp for Fata Morgana to occur. What do you think? Is this an optical illusion, government testing, or a gateway to another world? Let us know in the comments section below.
The Chicago UFO. In August 2016, a pilot took this footage on his phone while flying over Chicago, Illinois. It shows three balls of light hovering in the air beside the aircraft. They maintain a triangle formation and dramatically take off at extreme speeds below the aircraft.
These two clips come from a YouTube channel called Exploring Abandoned Mines. It's a group of enthusiasts that explore old, unused mines. The channel is not normally associated with paranormal happenings, but there are two clips where some very unusual activity is captured on film. The first one shows them exploring the Horton mine in Nevada, USA. At first, the guy filming says the mine feels very unusual, like a strange energy is around. Then, climbing further into the abyss, he finds a chain swinging on its own back and forth. Then in the second clip we see the explorers descending into the Nicholas Eureka mine in California. Watching the whole clip, nothing obviously creepy happens, but on review at the 4:25 mark, while looking up the shaft ladder to the left, something very strange is lurking in the shadow. If you slow it down, it looks like the boot of someone climbing down the shaft.
Alien Interview Area 51. This footage surfaced in 1997. A man known only as Victor claims to have obtained this footage from the government. He says it's an interview with an extraterrestrial being in Area 51.
Alright, we're looking at the interview suite at S4. It's kept dark for the comfort of the aliens. I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to watch this.
This strange footage began circulating in December 2014. Supposedly taken in Dev Pavan Ghats in India, this video shows a man driving down a dark mountain road. Legends tell of a witch that has been spotted for over 200 years in the very mountains he's driving through. What he finds on the road is absolutely chilling.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! The Florida skunk ape, uploaded in January 2015, this clip was taken in Lettuce Lake Park, Tampa, Florida. The man who captured the footage initially thought he had spotted a bear and began filming, but when he later asked the park ranger about bears in the area, they said that they tend to stay away from swampy areas. If you take a closer look, it appears to have much longer arms than a bear and walks comfortably on its hind legs. Many say a hominid, cryptid creature known as a skunk ape roams the Florida area. It gets its name from the foul-smelling odor that it reportedly emanates. Numerous witnesses throughout Florida have reported seeing a big, hairy ape-like creature that runs on two legs. Could this be the fabled creature?
In 2009, a self-proclaimed prophet known as Yahweh demonstrated to an ABC News team that he can summon strange flying objects on command. The reporter begins the piece with an understandable skepticism, but before long the prophet Yahweh goes into some kind of prayer or trance. Then, right there in front of the reporter, a strange glowing orb appears in the sky.
Oh, brother, look at it, there it is.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then, another sighting.
There it is, I got it.
But let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere.
See, it's coming up toward us. Whoa, man! Oh, hallelujah!
Ghost leaving body. There is very little information on this video. It appears to be some security footage from an old school or possibly a hospital. It looks as though there is someone sleeping on the bed, but what the camera captures is terrifying.
This video was uploaded to YouTube in 2011. It's supposedly filmed in Fresno, California near Yosemite National Park. An elderly couple were having trouble with some trespassers on their property, so they decided to set up a camera. When they reviewed the footage, they had no idea what they had captured. Bonus time! Huge shout out to Danger Dolan for helping out with this one. It was an absolute blast working with him. Now head on over to his channel now to watch 8 creepy things caught on security camera. We feature in it. The links are in the description box below.
Fresh pantalones please, I seem to have soiled myself.
As always, thanks heaps for watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed Danger Dolan in this countdown. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for daily Slapped Ham antics. And this is the Slapped Ham Shining Wolf.
Slapped ham.
7 eerie abandoned places you have to see. From an abandoned sugar factory to a replicated Paris, join us as we take a look at 7 eerie abandoned places you just have to see. Chengdu City, China. While technically not an abandoned city, Chengdu in China has very few inhabitants. Architecturally modelled off Paris, this gated community seems like a ghost town in comparison to the real Paris, France. Construction began in 2007 with the intent to lure settlers out of the countryside with the promise of a little European romance. While few countrysiders seem to have been persuaded, only time will tell if the Chinese take to this unusual French oasis. The Domino Sugar Refinery. This hauntingly beautiful building is the abandoned Domino Sugar Factory in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. After operations ceased in 2004, this mighty complex was left to decay, creating an eerie backdrop against the East River. This refinery, looking like a fortress from some end-of-the-world movie, has recently received the go-ahead to be turned into residential housing. Miranda Castle, Belgium. Miranda Castle was built in 1866 by an English architect under the commission from the Leader-Kirk Beaufort family. The family's descendants remained in the castle until World War II, when it was taken over and converted into an orphanage. It remained an orphanage until 1980, after which it fell into disrepair. As the cost to maintain the property was far too high, no investors have come forward, so this creepy old orphanage remains completely abandoned even today. Hashima Island, Nagasaki, Japan. Hashima Island served as a coal mining facility from 1887 to 1974. Known as Battleship Island due to its likeness of a Japanese battleship upon the seas, this eerie abandoned place was once home to more than 5,250 inhabitants. The island is covered with eroding high-rise block-style apartments and a large seawall around the perimeter. Hashima Island served as inspiration for the hideout of Bond villain Raoul Silva in Skyfall. No actual filming took place on the island, however, as a large set was built in Pinewood Studios, England. The Mir Mine. Located in eastern Siberia, Russia, the Mir Mine is the second largest excavated hole in the world. At 525 meters deep, it's also the fourth deepest. When diamonds were discovered in the area in 1955, construction began shortly after on this gigantic open-air mine and outlying buildings. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, in 1991 the Saka Diamond Company took over operations, reporting annual profits in excess of $600 million from diamond sales. Eventually this huge mine was closed completely in 2011. The SS America, Fuerteventura, Canary Islands. The SS America was built in 1940 for the United States Lines. During its career, it saw many roles, including a troop transport and passenger liner. During a tow in 1993, the deteriorating vessel ran aground in Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands. It has stayed there until this day, slowly eroding in the pounding surf. The wreck is now only visible in low tide. Pripyat, Ukraine. Founded in 1947, Pripyat once had a population of more than 49,000 people. It was evacuated shortly after the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. Totally abandoned for many years, Pripyat and the outlying areas are now surrounded by military guards and police. Since 2005, it is possible to take guided tours of the town as radiation levels have dramatically fallen and are now considered to be within a safe level. Recently, Pripyat has served as inspiration for several levels on the popular Call of Duty video game series. In the 2013 film A Good Day to Die Hard, part of the story is based in and around the city. An entire deserted town is truly worthy of our #1 spot for eeriest abandoned places. Well, hey, I sure would love to visit some of these places in person. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're enjoying the content, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to our channel, why not hit subscribe? We have new content coming out each and every week. And this is the Slapper Shining Wolf.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about creepy ghost footage. From the haunted halls of a school in Ireland to some poltergeist activity in a Malaysian mosque. Join us as we take a look at some really creepy ghost footage that'll give you chills.
At around 3 AM on October 1st, 2017 at the Deer Park CBS school in Ireland, a security camera captured some striking footage. Down the long dark hallway, a door abruptly opens then slams shut. Moments later, a column of lockers starts inexplicably shaking. A single locker door flies open, emptying books and paper onto the ground. Then, a caution wet floor sign left out by a janitor flips violently onto the ground. When asked about the alleged ghost footage, Deer Park's principal, Aaron Wolf, denies that it was a hoax, saying, "If it's a prank, we don't know how it was done. Motion sensors were set off at this time, that's how it was caught." The school has a history of ghost sightings. One teacher claims that they heard a trumpet playing down a hallway while staying the night at the school. They said they couldn't find the source of the music and left immediately. On another occasion, a student said they heard crying coming from the bathroom, but when they went in, no one was there. Others have said they've seen lights flick on and off, and cold spots have been reported in the very hallway this footage was taken. This video was recorded by a security camera at the Kampung Tadung Mosque in Malaysia. At a little after 3 AM on the 28th of the 5th, 2016, strange activity began happening at this local place of worship. In the video, we see two partitions begin to move on their own. They move about the floor, sliding back and forth. They move independently of each other and too erratically to be pulled by rope or wire. According to the New Straits Times, a local newspaper in Malaysia, Malacca Chief Minister Datuk Seri Idri Haron called for an official investigation into the footage. He invited religious authorities and local scientists to review the security tapes. He also stated he didn't think the video was a hoax, as the movement of the partitions appeared to be random, he said. When the footage was posted to Facebook, it quickly went viral, dividing the community on plausible explanations. Some commentators noted that it could be wind, while others were quick to call it poltergeist activity. Whatever the case may be, it makes for some striking footage. The outcome of the official investigation is not known. Staying in Malaysia, this time we take a look at some security footage in a police station. Filmed in mid-2017 at the Bandar Halal police station in Malacca, a usual quiet evening was playing out when something truly bizarre happened. In the footage, we see several police officers working at the reception desk of the department. Suddenly, two glass doors fly open, one of them shattering on impact. The officers stand up, startled and confused as to what just happened. Shocked, they slowly begin to investigate the scene. They search outside as more officers are drawn to the commotion. It's possible that strong winds played a role in the incident, sweeping through one door, creating enough force to push open the second door, shattering it against the wall. However, the first door opens inwards while the second door opens outward, which doesn't suggest a current of wind could funnel through a building like that. Plus, it looks like the first door may lead to an office or another indoor room, which completely rules out wind altogether. What do you think happened in this Malaysian police station? Is it haunted or was it just wind? Let us know in the comments section below. This footage was taken in late 2014 in a pharmacy in Egypt. At around 3 AM, strange things start to happen in the store. The TVs start flickering and a chair begins to move on its own. It rises into the air, then abruptly falls to the ground. Moments later, some kind of powder or liquid spatters onto the ground. We then see a different security camera show some kind of strange liquid forming on the cabinet of the store. When this video was uploaded, it spread quickly across social media, garnering thousands of views. Commentators have noted that it's rare for security cameras to capture sound, something you see a lot of in hoax ghost footage. Other paranormal investigators believe the footage could be real, noting it could be genuine evidence of poltergeist activity. In mid-2013, an eerie woman was spotted by security cameras in Bogota, Colombia. 3 separate CCTV cameras spotted the ghostly figure wandering down the street. The woman appears to be dressed in an old maid's outfit. She walks a few steps, pauses, then walks another few steps and pauses again. Each of the 3 cameras capture her bizarre walking pattern. Ordinarily, this footage could be dismissed as merely a person walking strangely down the street. However, it's what happens when she reaches the end of the road that will give you chills. 2 of the 3 security cameras show the woman vanish. She just completely disappears. A local news station in Bogota investigated the area where the footage was taken and even invited a priest to comment on the incident. They found no plausible reason for the disappearance of the woman. This security camera footage from Japan began surfacing in mid-2016. It shows a man getting into a taxi, but what happens next will give you chills. As the man enters the taxi, some kind of dark figure follows him. The entity has long black hair and is wearing a dress with a hunched over posture. It eerily clings to the man, then vanishes into the side of the vehicle. This is some old footage uploaded to YouTube more than 10 years ago. It's taken from a Japanese documentary series that looks at famous ghost footage. In the video, we see a young girl sitting in front of a mirror brushing her hair. A woman calls out, getting the young girl's attention. As she turns around, her reflection on the right pauses. It doesn't follow the little girl's movement at all. This footage has been analysed dozens of times over the years. Some critics have noted that it could easily have been manipulated in post-production, taking multiple shots and splicing them together. Others maintain that the footage is real and hasn't been tampered with in any way. Some believe it to be solid evidence of a paranormal world that humans can't normally perceive. There's not a lot of background information on this video other than it's from an unknown reality TV show. Uploaded to YouTube more than 10 years ago, the video shows a man exploring a cemetery in Mexico. In the darkness, he begins to hear a young girl crying. When the man yells out, the little girl cries out for her mum. He searches in the darkness, desperate to find the disembodied voice. This goes on for several minutes as the man gets more and more terrified. Finally, he spots an eerie figure sitting by a grave. It looks like a young girl with long black hair wearing a white dress. She moans "Mum," then turns to the camera revealing glowing eyes with grey, gaunt facial features. The man runs scared and screaming into the dark of the night. Unfortunately, that's all the information we can find on this video. Supposedly, it's from a Mexican reality TV show. The producers of the show heard stories from locals that mysterious crying was emanating from the local cemetery at nighttime. The host of the show decided to investigate, and this is the footage. Allegedly, the host was so traumatized by the experience that he had to get therapy.
Fresh pants please, that was a little bit terrifying. What do you think? Love to hear your thoughts, leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the content. If you're new, remember to subscribe because we do stuff like this each and every week. And that's it for me, I'll see you all next time. Pew! From a gold-covered hamburger to a $1 million parking space. Join us as we take a look at the 10 most expensive things in the world.
The South of Houston restaurant in The Hague, Netherlands is home to the world's most expensive burger. Created by chef Diego Buick, this budget-breaking burger starts with a black Angus and dry-aged Wagyu beef patty. Then comes the oyster-shelled lobster infused with Hermit Dutch coastal gin. The chef then adds Remaca cheese, foie gras, white truffles, caviar, Iberian ham, French lettuce and Japanese fruit tomatoes. The burger is finished off with a delectably over-the-top sauce made from more lobster, Madagascan vanilla, saffron, soy, and Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Finally, it's topped with a gold leaf-covered saffron brioche bun. The cost to satisfy your expensive appetite? A whopping $2,313 US. Produced from 1962 to 1964, there was only ever 39 Ferrari 250 GTOs ever made. In October 2013, American collector Paul Pappalardo sold one to an unnamed buyer for a record-breaking $52 million US. The rarity of the Ferrari 250 GTO coupled with its timeless looks and drivability makes this car a hot-ticket item for any serious car collector. Maker of luxury gadgets and appliances, Stuart Hughes offers some truly high-end televisions. The Supreme Rose Edition is crafted using 28 kilograms, which is around 61 pounds of 18-karat rose gold. The inlay is made from hand-stitched alligator skin and the frame is studded with 72 round-cut 1-carat diamonds. The remaining space filled with amethyst and sunstone. What's the cost to watch SpongeBob on a dazzling diamond TV? $2.25 million US. In 2010, a single feather from the extinct huia bird fetched a staggering $10,000 US when sold at auction. The feather, which was traditionally used to adorn the headpieces of Maori chiefs, was sold to an unnamed family from Wellington who have a large collection of Maori artifacts. Designer to the ultra-rich, Stuart Hughes makes another appearance on our list, this time with the world's most expensive bed, the Baldacchino Supreme. This luxurious bed features a hand-carved chestnut wood structure with an ashwood canopy, decorated with 107 kilograms, which is around 235 pounds of 24-karat gold. All fabric is Italian silk and cotton, and the headboard is fully customized to fit precious stones of the buyer's choice. The cost to sleep soundly in this sort of ultra-luxury? $6.3 million US. The Baldacchino Supreme recently took the #1 place for the world's most expensive bed from the Magnetic Floating Bed. Priced at a meager $1.6 million, this amazing bed uses industrial strength magnets to allow it to permanently float around 40 centimeters, which is around 1.3 feet off the ground. If I had the dough, this is the one I'd be getting. How about you? Ultra luxurious Italian Baldacchino Supreme or magnetic floating bed? Let us know in the comments section below. Produced by extravagant gadget maker Stuart Hughes, the now out-of-date iPhone 4S Elite Gold is the world's most expensive phone. It boasts 500 flawless diamonds embedded in the rose gold bezel. Both the phone's casing and the Apple logo are made of 24-karat gold, with the logo containing another 53 diamonds. The navigation button is also gold with a single-cut 8.6-karat diamond inlay. The phone comes in a chest made of solid platinum, decorated with a polished Tyrannosaurus Rex bone, sunstone, opal and rutile quartz. Only 2 4S Elite Gold mobile phones were ever made, making the total cost to own one a mind-blowing $8 million US. Not sure about you, but if I was paying that much for a mobile phone, I'd want the latest model. When Californian-based marketing company QuinStreet purchased Insurance.com for $35.6 million US back in 2010, they became the owners of the world's most expensive website. The website is an insurance comparison site that aggregates quotes from leading companies for car, motorcycle, home and life insurance. QuinStreet also owned popular domain names Insure.com and Internet.com, which they acquired in 2009 for $16 million and $18 million respectively. In 2012, the developer of a luxury condo building in New York City's Greenwich Village listed a parking space for $1 million US. The spot, which measures 3.6 meters by 7 meters, is also 4.5 meters high, meaning the new owner could install an elevator to allow space to park 2 cars. If you were a cashed up billionaire, would you shell out $1 million for a parking space? Let us know down below. This 400 square foot private residence located in South Mumbai is a massive 27 stories tall. It boasts 21 elevators, 6 underground parking floors, 3 separate helicopter pads, and requires a staggering 600 strong staff just to maintain it. Antilia is owned by Mukesh Ambani, the chairman of Reliance Industries, an energy and materials company whose estimated net worth was calculated at $19.2 billion US in 2015. The price to live in this amazing megastructure? $1 billion US. The History Supreme is a 30 metre, which is around 98.4 foot long ultra luxurious yacht. Purchased for an insane $4.5 billion US by an unnamed businessman, this boat boasts 100,000 kilograms, which is around 220,000 pounds of gold and platinum plating that covers more than half of the yacht's entire surface. If that's not lavish enough, the yacht also has a statue made from an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex bone, a wall feature in the master bedroom made from a meteorite, and a huge aquarium fashioned from another 68 kilograms, which is 150 pounds of 24-karat gold. Bonus time!
Hello, Ham Fam! Have you ever wanted to pitch an idea for an episode? Well, head on over to our Patreon campaign and pledge at a 5 level or higher, and you can start pitching ideas for top 10s. Each month we'll pick one lucky winner and turn their idea into a list. Plus we'll give you an amazing shout out at the end of the episode. If you're interested, head on over, check our campaign out. Links are in the description box below. Well, there's another list down. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to head on over to our Patreon campaign for an amazing rewards list. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! From children doing emergency drills for a bombing raid to the staking of an alleged vampire's heart. Join us as we take a look at 10 real photos with creepy backstories.
This unsettling photo was taken in Liverpool, England in 1941. After persistent bombing from German air forces during early phases of World War II, all UK citizens were issued with a gas mask. Rampant fear of a gas attack on Britain led many schools to run drills with their students. This photo shows young school children learning how to put on a gas mask and file hand in hand to a nearby meeting area. This is Anne Elizabeth Fowler Hodges. She is the first documented human to be hit by a verified extraterrestrial object. Known as the Sylacauga meteorite, this 5.5 kilo, which is around 12 pound space rock, fell into the living room of Hodges on the afternoon of November 30th, 1954. She lay on her couch having an afternoon snooze when the meteorite crashed through the roof of her house. It bounced off a large wooden radio, then smashed into her left hip, causing significant bruising. The event garnered worldwide media attention, and soon a bitter ownership battle broke out between Hodges and her landlord as to who owned the meteorite. Offers of up to $5,000 were being made to purchase the rock. After a lengthy one-year dispute, Hodges finally settled with her landlord by paying $500 for the chunk of meteorite. But by then, public interest had diminished and buyers were no longer interested. Taken in 1895, this photo shows Horatio Gordon Robley sitting with his collection of severed heads. Known as Moko Makai, these are the preserved heads of tattooed Maori tribesmen. During the 19th century musket wars in New Zealand, violent clashes broke out between arriving Europeans and the native Maori. The war saw the severed heads of natives used as a form of currency, which could be bartered for other goods and even firearms. During the American Civil War, the Andersonville prison camp was notorious for its poor treatment of inmates. The prison was built around a swamp. Prisoners were often forced to bathe and drink water contaminated with the feces of thousands of sick and dying men. Diseases like dysentery, diarrhea and scurvy were rife throughout the camp. This photo is of a Union soldier who managed to survive the horrific conditions at the Andersonville prison camp. His emaciated figure gives insight into the appalling treatment prisoners of war had to endure. This is the mummified heart of alleged vampire August Delagrange. It is said that he was responsible for the deaths of more than 40 people in the early 1900s. In 1912, Delagrange was murdered by a Catholic priest who drove a stake into his heart. This photo, taken on August 14, 1936, shows the last public execution in the United States. A crowd of up to 20,000 people watch in anticipation. Rainey Bethea was the last prisoner in America to be publicly executed after he was found guilty of the rape and murder of 70-year-old Alicia Edwards. Although the crime itself was heinous, a media circus grew around the event because the sheriff of Davis County at the time was a woman. Her name was Florence Shoemaker Thompson. Hundreds of journalists from all over the country flocked to the town of Owensboro, Kentucky to cover what was supposed to be the first execution publicly performed by a woman. However, unbeknownst to the public, Thompson had arranged for Arthur L. Hash, a former Louisville police officer, to pull the nooses trigger. On the day of the hanging, Hash turned up drunk and right at the last minute refused to pull the rope to trigger the execution. The crowd watched on in confusion as nothing happened. Finally, a young deputy police officer leaned against the trigger that sprang the trapdoor, dropping Bethea to his death. On August 6, 1945, a US B-29 bomber dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima that killed 166,000 men, women and children. The blast was so intense that it left haunting impressions of the poor souls that were killed that day. This photo here shows the shadow of an elderly person with a cane permanently etched into stone. This is the elephant's foot, one of the most dangerous objects on the planet. It's a melted pile of radioactive material mixed with sand, concrete and coarse sealant. It's found in the basement of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. When it first formed after the 1986 nuclear disaster, anyone standing near it would have suffered irreparable damage in seconds. Within 30 seconds, a person would feel dizzy and nauseous. By 2 minutes, cells in the human body would begin to hemorrhage. 4 minutes would render a human almost helpless, suffering from vomiting, diarrhea and fever. By 5 minutes, a human standing next to the elephant's foot at the time of formation would have been exposed to a lethal dose of radiation and would have died within 2 days. This photo was taken many years after the disaster when radiation levels had dropped. Interestingly, this photo is grainy because of the radioactive fallout. This is said to be the post-mortem photo of a young girl who committed suicide by drinking her own blood. Loana Contanescu lived in a town called Timisoara in western Romania around the turn of the 19th century. She was known to practice a very old religion known as Zoroastrianism, which has roots to pre-Muslim Iran around 600 BCE. Rumours spread that Loana was a witch. In October 1909, things got out of hand when 2 local Christian preachers and their wives rallied a mob around Loana's house. They dragged her from her home and beat her with sticks and rocks. She managed to survive and was admitted to hospital. Doctors tended to her wounds and released her 2 days later. Several days after her release from hospital, Loana Contanescu was found dead. Witnesses claim her body laid at a makeshift altar. Bunches of herbs and incense scattered about the room. Strange esoteric symbols were written on the walls. A local coroner found lacerations on her ankles and wrists and pronounced her cause of death to be hemochromatosis. It's thought that she consumed several goblets of her own blood and died from a toxic amount of iron. It's hard to verify this story as there's very few historical documents referencing the life of Ioana Constănescu. Some critics have noted that if that is Ioana in the photo, why doesn't she have any signs of the mob beating she received just days earlier? Others have suggested that Ioana managed to restore her physical appearance through the ritual imbibing of her own blood, but willingly passed through to the afterlife. From here, the story has a strange twist. The two preachers and their wives who rallied the mob all died within 1 year of Ioana's death. The first couple were burnt alive after a fire engulfed their barn. The second couple were crushed to death by a falling tree while out for a walk. Could Ioana's spirit have got vengeance from beyond this mortal realm, or is this story one big hoax? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. This photo was taken on October 12, 1960 at Tokyo's Hibiya Hall. It depicts the moment of impact during the assassination of Inajira Asanuma, the head of the Japan Socialist Party. The attacker, seen on the right, is Japanese ultra-nationalist Atoya Yamaguchi. This still image captures the moment he plunged a small sword known as a yaradoishi deep into the stomach of Asanuma. Several weeks after the incident, while being held in a juvenile detention center, Yamaguchi wrote on a mirror with some toothpaste. The words read, "7 lives for my country, long live His Imperial Majesty the Emperor." He then hung himself from a light fixture with his bed sheets.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit that big old red subscribe button because we have new videos every Monday and Thursday. Also, remember to follow us on all our socials at SlappedHam, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some really creepy pictures. From a photo of a ghost girl on a ship to an image of a boy who drowned years earlier. Join us as we take a look at 10 photos of ghost children that have everyone scared. And before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more creepy content just like this.
In 2004, a boy took this photo of his family out the front of their home on a bright summer's day. At first, no one noticed anything unusual about the picture, and it wasn't until sometime later when the family were thumbing through an old family album that they realised there was another figure present in the picture. If you take a closer look at the glass oval in the centre of the front door, you can clearly see what appears to be a young girl dressed in white staring out at the family. The family claimed there was no one else in the house at the time the photo was taken, and that the house itself was only 4 years old. They had purchased it just 6 months after it was built and had never heard of a little girl ever living there. They were completely baffled by the image. The figure has a pale, featureless face and looks strangely out of place, dressed in a long flowing gown on a hot summer's day. Some who have seen the picture believe that the little girl may be a spirit that is somehow attached to the house, while others have suggested that it could be a long-lost deceased relation of the family. What do you think it could be? Love to hear your opinion in the comments section below. This photo was taken by a couple whose cat kept hissing at the patio door. Every time they got up to inspect, there didn't seem to be anything there. They decided to take a photo to see if they could catch whatever it was the cat was hissing at. When they uploaded the image to their computer, they couldn't believe what they had captured. In the photo, there appears to be a little girl staring into the house. She is pale and vapour-like and looks to be wearing some sort of period dress. The cat looks as though it can clearly see the ghostly figure as it arches its back, hissing at the window. Many believe that animals can see things that humans can't, and that they have a heightened sensitivity to the paranormal. The couple, who are obviously shaken by the photo, said they had no idea who the little girl was. Their house was believed to be very old, so it's possible that the mysterious figure may have once been a resident. Whatever it is the couple have captured in this photo, I'm sure they'll pay closer attention to where their cat is looking from now on. When a young woman took a series of photos of her son, she was shocked to discover she had captured something more. Over the boy's right shoulder, you can clearly see a dark figure walking across the carpet. The figure is about the size of the boy, and if you look closely you can make out legs, which even cast a shadow across the floor. The apparition has no distinguishable facial features, and you can see the sofa straight through it. When the image first appeared online, skeptics suggested that the ghostly figure could be simply another child that had been blurred by the camera's slow shutter speed. The woman said it wasn't possible, however, as there was no one else in the house at the time the photos were taken. What do you think this photo was captured? Has the young mother actually photographed a ghost child walking around her living room? This photo was captured by a woman in Dartmoor, England in 2002. At first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything strange about it. That is until you hear the chilling backstory. The woman was sitting in her car with her partner watching the ponies in a nearby field when she decided to take some photos. It was raining outside, so she leaned out the window of the car to get the picture. When the pair reviewed their photos later that evening, they were stunned to see a young girl with blonde hair patting the horse. The woman claimed that there was no one else in the area at the time the photo was taken, and they had definitely not seen a young girl in the field. If you take a closer look at the girl in the image, you can see that her arm is unusually thin and she has long wispy fingers draped down the side of the horse. The area where this picture was taken is infamous for strange ghost sightings. In the 1920s, a series of fatal accidents occurred along a nearby stretch of road. One survivor told authorities that as he was travelling along the road, he suddenly felt a pair of rough, hairy hands wrench at the steering wheel, causing him to swerve off the road. Another couple reported being attacked by a ghostly hand while camping in the area that only disappeared after the woman used her fingers to make the sign of the cross. Over time, these and other bizarre sightings have become known as the ghostly hands of Dartmoor. Could it be possible that this budding photographer has actually captured proof that there is ghosts haunting the area? In 2017, a group of women on a hen's party captured these two photos at a remote estate in Scotland. When the images were posted to Reddit, they immediately caused a stir. In the second picture, which was taken just moments after the first, you can clearly see a small boy on the left-hand side staring at the group from behind the chopped logs. After the group looked at the images, they were supposedly so frightened by what they saw that they left the area immediately. Several of the girls did some investigating and discovered that a young boy had died while staying at the nearby Coylette Hotel with his mother. He was said to have drowned after sleepwalking into the murky waters of the lake. According to the owners of the hotel, the boy's presence can still be felt in room 4, and guests have reported belongings going missing and being moved. Some even claim to have seen mysterious wet footprints on the floor as the boy searches the hallways for his mother. Since the child's tragic drowning, he's become known to locals as the Blue Boy, because that's the colour his skin was by the time they eventually pulled him out of the lake. In 2013, a woman by the name of Luann Sakuro claimed that she had experienced many strange things while living in her Ravenna, Ohio residence. Sakuro, who had lived in the house for more than 20 years, said that she had heard the mysterious voice of a child and believed that the ghost of a young girl was roaming her hallways at night time. She'd even heard strange noises coming from her closets and doorknobs jiggling. This photo was taken by her son some years earlier, and it appears to show a ghostly, childlike face peering out of one of the living room windows. After seeing this photo, Sakuro said, "I feel that this image is a very good photo of something paranormal caught on camera. A very disturbing photo. It appears to be an image of a child. I believe the image in the photograph shows what's in our home." Is this photo evidence that Luann Sakuro's house is actually haunted by a ghost of a little girl? What do you think this photo was captured? Let us know in the comments section below. When this photo first appeared online, it immediately attracted significant attention. The woman and her daughter are posing for a picture in front of the famous ship the Star of India, docked at the Maritime Museum in San Diego Harbor. The photo, which was taken by the woman's father, looks to have captured a young girl dressed in white on the outer side of the guard railing. The woman claims that her father waited for all passerbys to move before taking the photo, and that no members of her family could remember seeing the girl at the time. Making the photo even more unsettling is the fact that on the other side of the guardrail there's a 6-foot drop straight into the harbour below. Who is this mysterious girl and how is she managing to stay afloat above the water? Could it be the ghost of a child that tragically died at sea? Love to hear what you think is going on in this photo. This photo was taken by a young boy who woke up in the middle of the night and thought his sister was playing a prank on him. He soon realised that it wasn't his sister who was staring at him through the door as she was still upstairs sleeping. The girl's skin is pale and she has a lifeless look on her face. She also appears to be wearing a long dress that would look more at home in the 1800s. When the boy screamed, the eerie figure was said to have disappeared from the hallway. When this unnamed parent checked her baby monitor to make sure her son was sleeping, she got a horrible fright. She quickly grabbed her phone and captured this image. Next to her sleeping son is the disembodied face of another child staring straight into the baby monitor. When this photo first surfaced, skeptics were quick to discredit it by saying that the face could simply belong to a brother or sister who had crept into the crib through the night. However, the woman was quick to mention that the sleeping boy was an only child, and that there was no other children at the house at the time. Other viewers also pointed out that even if the face did belong to another child, how did they manage to climb into the sleeping boy's crib? And more importantly, where is the child's body? Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at a truly terrifying photo of a ghost child, remember to hit subscribe and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be up to date with all our latest creepy content. In February 2017, a council official in the Spanish town of Vegas del Ganil captured this unsettling image in the local town hall. The photo shows what appears to be a young girl standing in the middle of the hallway. The official, who was working through the night, claimed that he suddenly felt the air in his office become very cold. When he got up to go to the bathroom, he heard a strange sound coming from the end of the corridor. Fearing that there were thieves in the building, he decided to use his phone to take a photo. He briefly glanced at the image and saw that there was no one there. However, when he reviewed the photo sometime later, he noticed that he had captured what appeared to be a young girl staring back at him. The man showed the picture to several of his colleagues who admitted to having similar experiences while working in the building. The staff urged the mayor of the town to hire a priest or ghost hunters to investigate, but the mayor remained skeptical of the claims, saying, "How can I justify hiring a medium when I have residents without electricity?" If you're enjoying our content, then consider supporting us on Patreon. Patreon helps creators like us continue to make interesting indie content. So if you've ever been entertained by our videos, then why not show some love and support us now? In return, you'll also get some awesome exclusive rewards, like regular shoutouts across our social media, pitch ideas for lists, get shoutouts at the end of our YouTube videos, or get a custom voice clip of me saying whatever you like. If you're interested, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description box below.
Well, that's the end of another episode. In the comments section below, let us know which of these photos scared the bejeebers out of you. Remember to subscribe if you're new, or hit that upward facing thumb, it really helps us out. And that's it for me, I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about creepy clown sightings. From a clown that's regularly spotted in a New York cemetery to a guy in a mask that chases kids through a playground. We count 10 creepy clown sightings caught on camera.
In 2014, a series of creepy clown sightings began happening across Jacksonville, Florida. These horrifying clowns were captured on CCTV systems that the residents had installed out the front of their houses. Seeing the footage would be enough to make you want to sell your home and get the hell out of there. One of the first sightings is of a clown dressed in red. He wanders up the path and stands there just staring at the house. Weeks later, another clown was filmed standing on the porch of a home, just staring at the camera. A frightened cat scampers to safety. Then suddenly, the clown begins to violently tear a pumpkin apart. Then another was captured. Like the previous incidences, the clown stares at the camera for a moment before lighting his face with electronic lights. He waits for a moment before wandering back out onto the street. What is going on in Jacksonville? This footage was taken by an unidentified person while visiting the Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York. It shows a clown carrying a fistful of balloons walking aimlessly amongst the graves. Despite several sightings of this scary clown, security has never been able to catch him. It's as though he disappears without a trace. Three friends in a skate park in eastern Texas captured this unsettling footage while skateboarding in a local park. Suddenly, one of them notices a strange figure in the cemetery on the other side of the road. They soon realize that it's a clown and move in for a closer look. The clown disappears into the darkness. After a few minutes of searching, the boys decide to head back to their car. Suddenly, the creepy clown reappears and begins chasing them through the cemetery. Why they ever thought that it was a good idea to follow the clown into a cemetery at night is beyond me. Two friends in Detroit, Michigan captured this unnerving video on their mobile phone whilst out driving. One of them notices that there is someone hanging onto the back of the bus they're following. As they get closer, they realise it's actually a clown. The footage abruptly ends, leaving the viewer wondering what on earth was going on. Was the clown hitching a ride through town, or were they following someone on the bus? Either way, it's about as creepy as it gets. What do you think this sinister looking clown was up to? This scary video was captured by some children playing Pokemon Go at Sims Park in Newport Richey, Florida. They soon notice what appears to be someone lurking behind a tree. As they move in for a closer look, a clown walks out from behind the bushes. The boys continue to record as the creepy clown slowly walks towards them. When these guys in Missouri noticed a strange clown digging a hole just behind their back fence, they went out to investigate. The clown keeps digging, unaware he's being filmed, until one of the guys yells out,
Hey! What are you doing?
Startled, the clown drops his shovel and begins running towards them. They manage to make it back inside the safety of their house. What was this clown doing? Was he looking for something, or could he have been burying evidence of a terrible crime? Let us know in the comments section below. When a group of friends heard that there was a creepy clown lurking around the back roads of a nearby town, they decided to go for a drive to investigate. At one point, they think they see something strange and turn the car around for another look. As they slow down for a better look, a clown jumps out from behind a tree and begins chasing the car down the road. The footage ends as the clown is about to climb onto the front of the car. I'm fairly certain that this group of friends will never go searching for clowns at night time ever again. This eerie video was captured by two men driving along a quiet road in Omaha, Nebraska. When they notice a clown slowly walking towards them, they decide to back up their car. The clown then disappears into the nearby cornfields. The men can be heard arguing whether or not to continue reversing or just to drive straight ahead. One of them yells, "Step on it," and they quickly drive forwards.
Step on it, go, dude. No, I got it.
As they pass the cornfield, the clown makes a dash for the car and chases them down the road. A group of friends captured this unnerving footage in a park in Dallas, Texas, when they noticed a person in a clown mask walking aimlessly around the grounds. As they get closer, the clown turns and runs at the group while squeezing a horn.
Oh my god!
They manage to make a lucky escape when the clown loses his mask and wig, forcing him to give up the chase. This video was taken in Bridgeport, West Virginia by a man who was doing a spot of night fishing in a local river. He begins filming with his phone when he hears some strange noises in the distance. He shines his flashlight on a figure coming towards him dressed in a black cloak and clown mask. The man stops recording and runs back to his car. When he's safely inside, he switches his phone back on. The clown has followed the man all the way back to his car and is just standing on the other side of the fence staring with an empty gaze. What on earth was this clown doing in the woods in the middle of the night? This video makes me never want to leave my house ever again.
Well, how about that? As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button right there? Because we do videos just like this each and every week. And that's it from me. I'll see you all next time. Pew!
Slap
10 famous people that mysteriously vanished. From legendary big band leader Glenn Miller to infamous union boss Jimmy Hoffa, we take a look at 10 famous people that mysteriously disappeared. Big band leader Glenn Miller was pronounced missing in action on December 15, 1944 when his plane disappeared en route to France. Miller, who was 38 at the time, was the best-selling recording artist from 1939 to 1943. He persuaded the United States Army to draft him into service to lead a band on tour to boost the morale of the serving troops in World War II. Miller was on his way to Paris, France when his plane vanished in bad weather. Several theories attempted to explain his mysterious disappearance, including a faulty carburetor and even the idea that a returning Allied bomber may have hit Miller's aircraft with a jettisoned bomb unused from a failed German bombing raid. Australian Prime Minister Harold Holt mysteriously disappeared while swimming at Cheviot Beach near Portsea, Victoria, Australia. Holt was with several others, including his neighbour and rumoured lover Marjorie Gillespie. They were there to see British yachtsman Alex Rose sail through the Port Phillip Heads when he decided to go for a swim in choppy conditions. Shortly after entering the water, Holt disappeared from view, prompting his companions to call for help. The following search, which included the Royal Australian Navy, Air Force and local volunteers, was one of the largest search operations in Australia's history. The fact that Holt was a very experienced swimmer led some to suggest that Holt's disappearance was an elaborate cover-up. One theory suggested that Holt was a Russian spy and he was picked up off the coast by a Soviet submarine. To this day, Holt's disappearance remains a mystery. At 2:50 PM on the 24th of November 1971, a man using the alias Dan D.B. Cooper hijacked a Boeing 727 en route to Seattle, Washington from Portland, Oregon. Cooper passed a note to a flight attendant declaring he had a bomb and was hijacking the aircraft. His note detailed his demands, which included $200,000 in US currency, 4 parachutes and a refueling truck awaiting their arrival in Seattle. The airline authorized the ransom, which was delivered to the plane upon landing in Seattle. All passengers and non-essential crew were released before D.B. Cooper instructed the plane to take off and fly south towards Mexico City. Shortly after takeoff, the crew, who were instructed to remain in the cockpit with the door closed, noticed a change in cabin pressure, indicating that one of the aircraft's doors may have been opened. The aircraft landed in Reno, Nevada for refueling, where an armed search by authorities revealed Cooper was no longer on board. It is believed that Cooper jumped out of the aircraft with the ransom, and while FBI authorities initially thought there was no way he could have survived the jump, no conclusive evidence that he died has ever been found. In 1981, a young boy vacationing with his family near Vancouver, Washington, found 3 packets of money washed along the riverbank that was later confirmed to have been given to Cooper. The rest of the ransom was never recovered, leading to speculation that Cooper may have successfully parachuted to the ground safely. Despite an exhausting manhunt, the incident remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in American history. The case still remains open to this day. Richie Edwards, member of the rock band Manic Street Preachers, disappeared on the 1st of February 1995, shortly before he was due to head to the US on a promotional tour. The circumstances of his disappearance were certainly mysterious, with several strange details uncovered in the subsequent police investigation. Firstly, Edwards was found to have withdrawn £200 a day every day in the 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. On the 1st of February, he checked out of the Embassy Hotel in London and drove to his apartment in Cardiff, Wales. Some days later, he was spotted in the Newport Passport Office and the Newport Bus Station. On the 7th of February, a taxi driver reported picking up Edwards from outside the King's Hotel in Newport, then driving him to Blackwood, which was Edwards' home as a child. On the 14th of February, Edwards' car, a Vauxhall Cavalier, was discovered abandoned at the Seven View service station. The battery was flat and there was evidence that the car had been lived in. Initially, it was thought that the rock star may have taken his own life, as the car was discovered in close proximity to the Severn Bridge, a well-known suicide location. In the years following his disappearance, Edwards was reportedly spotted in the Canary Islands and even in a marketplace in Goa, India. Despite several sightings, Edwards was officially declared missing, presumed dead, on the 23rd of November 2008, even though his body was never found. Perhaps the most well-known missing person in history is Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa was the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Union from 1958 to 1971 and was heavily implicated in organised crime and affiliation with the mob. Convicted of jury tampering, fraud and attempted bribery, Hoffa served 4 of the 13-year sentence after agreeing to resign as president of the union, which was part of a pardon agreement with President Nixon. Jimmy Hoffa vanished in July 1975 after last being seen outside the Macca's Red Fox restaurant in Detroit, Michigan. Since his mysterious disappearance, several mob hitmen have come forward claiming to have killed him, but no one has ever been charged. His remains were even rumoured to have been buried under tons of concrete during construction at Giants Stadium in New Jersey. Jean Spangler, a small-part movie and TV actress, disappeared on October 7, 1949. The part-time model and dancer vanished after telling her sister-in-law she was heading out to meet with her former husband to discuss a late child support payment, and then heading to a studio to film a night shoot for a movie. Her ex-husband told police that he had not seen her the night of the disappearance, and his new wife claimed he was with her the whole night. 2 days after Spangler's disappearance, her purse was found near Griffith Park in Los Angeles. Inside, police discovered a mysterious note addressed to a man named Kirk that read, "Can't wait any longer, going to see Dr. Scott. It'll work best this way while mother is away." The note, ending with a comma, seemed to be unfinished. An exhaustive police search failed to uncover the identity of Kirk or the mysterious Dr. Scott. Friends of Spangler told police she was 3 months pregnant and considering getting an abortion, which was illegal at the time. To this day, Jean Spangler remains listed as a missing person. Okay, so this one's not about the disappearance of a famous person, but rather the disappearance of some infamous cargo. In March 1956, a Boeing B-47 Stratojet bomber disappeared over the Mediterranean Sea while travelling from MacDill Air Force Base in Florida to the Ben Guerir Air Force Base in Morocco. Aboard the plane were 3 US Air Force personnel and 2 nuclear warheads. Despite exhaustive searching, the warheads were never recovered. Frank Morris was the alleged ringleader of a group of men who famously escaped from Alcatraz prison on June 11, 1962. Using tools stolen from the prison yard, the men slowly widened the ventilation ducts in their cells, creating an escape tunnel that led to the roof of their cells. Here the men created a makeshift workshop where they fashioned life preservers from stolen raincoats, and even a raft from discarded rubber sealed together from the heat of the steam pipes. On the night of June 11th, the men left their cells, placing papier-mâché heads that they had created in their beds as decoys. The men made their way down to the water where they used the makeshift raft to escape. Despite no bodies ever being found, the authorities asserted that it was extremely unlikely the men survived the frigid and turbulent waters. However, in 2011, an 89-year-old man named Bud Morris, who claimed to be the cousin of Frank Morris, said he had delivered bribes to the guards prior to the daring escape. More amazingly, Bud Morris claimed to have met with Frank in a San Diego park shortly after the escape. His daughter, who was 8 at the time, corroborated the story, saying she remembered meeting with Dad's friend Frank. Famous female pilot Amelia Earhart vanished on July 2nd, 1937 while flying over the Pacific Ocean attempting to circumnavigate the globe. Earhart lost radio contact near Howland Island and a large search of the surrounding area was soon conducted by the US Navy. Soon after her disappearance, several theories surfaced suggesting that she may have been taken prisoner by the Japanese. One such rumour was fueled by the fact that soon after her disappearance, the Japanese released the Mitsubishi A6M Zero fighter aircraft, which had several strikingly similar components to the aircraft Earhart was flying at the time she disappeared. It was also suggested that she was a spy sent to report on the Japanese, and that she survived the flight, changed her name and moved to New Jersey. The Babushka Lady is the name given to the mysterious woman who was present at the assassination of JFK on November 22, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. In several photographs taken by other eyewitnesses, the Babushka Lady can be seen videotaping the assassination within meters of the motorcade. Unusually, the photos show the woman acting very calmly as she continues filming, despite the surrounding eyewitnesses fleeing in panic. Despite exhaustive investigations, neither the woman nor the video footage has ever been officially located. Well that's perplexing. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you've got some interesting theories about these disappearances, let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to read them. Remember to hit that thumbs up button, it really helps us out.
And this is the Schlepper Shining Room. Schlepham.
Japan's most haunted places. From the spirit of a World War II soldier visiting a military base to the tormented screams of a murdered young girl, join us as we take a look at Japan's most haunted places. This site, known only as Triple S Curve, is found on the Japanese island of Okinawa. There is very little information about this haunted area other than it's meant to be a hotbed of psychic energy. One Japanese forum claims that several soldiers lost their lives here. Visitors to the site have reported feelings of intense nausea, dizziness, vomiting and even hallucinations. One man said he felt a ghostly hand rest on his shoulder when walking through the woods. At the old military base known as Sagami Depot in Kanagawa Prefecture, there is a seldom used field hospital that is said to be rife with paranormal activity. The military police send new recruits to the field hospital just to test them out. Patrols often report windows ajar, doors that have been locked left wide open even though they'd just been checked the night before. There's often disembodied whispers heard in the abandoned rooms. Shadow figures have been sighted roaming the grounds despite the field hospital having not been used in years. These reports have come from both Japanese and American soldiers. Formerly the Numahagashi Elementary School in Bihai City, this round schoolhouse is said to be a hotbed for paranormal activity. Built in 1906 as a learning centre, it was used as an elementary school through the 40s, 50s and 60s, becoming abandoned in the early 70s. There are reports of children going missing in the later years of the school. Locals warn people not to visit the abandoned schoolyard as they often hear terrible noises coming from the nearby forest. Now they say anyone who enters the crumbling ruin disappears or returns insane. Camp Hansen is a United States Marine Corps base located in Okinawa, Japan. Inside the compound at the infamous Gate 3, many soldiers have reported strange activity. It is said that every weekend a soldier dressed in World War II fatigues approaches the gate. He is covered in blood with a cigarette hanging from his mouth. He asks the on-duty guard for a light, then vanishes from sight. There are reports of this gate being closed altogether just because of this haunting. Some Japanese guards even refuse to be posted there. The well in Himeji Castle in Japan's Hyogo Prefecture is said to be haunted by a young girl who shrieks at night time. The legend tells of a young girl named Okiku who served the samurai Aoyama Tasan. On many occasions, Okiku refused to become the samurai's lover. After many advances, Aoyama decided to trick the girl by hiding one of the family's 10 precious Delft plates. The samurai blackmailed the poor girl, saying that he'd be willing to overlook the missing plate if they became lovers. Okiko refused once more. Enraged, the samurai threw Okiku into the well, killing her immediately. It is said that Okiku's spirit became an onryo, a vengeful ghost that haunts the scene of her death. On clear nights, her spirit rises from the well, counts to 9, then lets out a chilling scream before descending back into the dark waters below. The Doryoda ruins in Adakayama Park in Hachioji, Tokyo were once a place of worship, but now they're known for something more sinister. In 1963, an 83-year-old woman was found brutally murdered on the side of the old temple. She was killed by a robber who looted the temple and left the old lady's body in the forest. Then, just 10 years later, a young student from St. Paul's University was found dead amongst the abandoned ruins. It was reported that the girl was having an affair with the university lecturer Oba Hiroshi. When the affair became publicly known, the professor, who was married with 2 children, felt his only way out was to murder the young girl and hide her body in the rural temple. The body was not discovered for several weeks. Locals told the police that they heard a young girl's voice coming from the forest that said, "I'm here, I'm here." In 1983, the old temple was dismantled. Many visitors claim they feel a sudden sadness come over them when they visit the site. Others say the voice of the young girl can still be heard crying out in the night, begging to be found. Located in the Ikebukuro area of Tokyo, Sunshine 60 is reported to be the world's first haunted skyscraper. Employees and construction workers alike tell stories of disembodied screams, chains rattling, and faces disappearing into the shadows. Built in 1978, this shopping centre and business hub once had the crown of the tallest building in Asia. However, despite its record-setting achievement and cheery name, it had a hard time relinquishing its sinister past. This enormous building was built on the former grounds of the infamous Sagamu prison. In its prime, the jail housed up to 2,000 inmates, 7 of which were executed on site. In the public eye, the Sunshine 60 project was deemed cursed. During its construction, many workers inexplicably lost their lives, some dying of faulty equipment, others falling from great heights, even though all safety precautions were in place. The workers often complained of strange noises, whispers or crying, chains rattling along the cement floors. Paranormal activity continued once the Sunshine 60's doors opened to the public, making it one of Japan's most haunted places. Customers have reported seeing faces in change rooms, orbs of light, and ghostly hands touch them as they go about their shopping. Many say they've seen a young girl jump off the roof of the building. Shocked and frightened, customers rush to the windows expecting to see the young girl hit the pavement below, but there's nothing there. Another regular apparition is the old lady that haunts the offices of the building. She's said to be gaunt and haggard with no eyeballs. She crawls about the cubicles of the offices whispering, "Where is it?" but when confronted, just disappears into nothing. Situated in the Shinjuku ward of Tokyo is the site of a mass burial ground for one of Japan's most sinister war crimes. Toyama Park was the former site of Tokyo Army Medical College, which housed the infamous Unit 731. They were a group of doctors tasked with developing chemical and biological weapons during World War II. They would perform sinister experiments on Chinese and Russian prisoners of war. The doctors would infect and dissect the soldiers while they were still alive. In 1989, the experiments were exposed when construction began in Toyama Park. As construction workers cleared the land for a new medical centre, they unearthed hundreds of mutilated remains. The bones had clear signs of experimentation. Author Seiichi Muramura, who wrote a book about the atrocious medical experiments, said the acts of 731 are the equivalent to Auschwitz. Many people claim they hear tormented screams throughout the park, especially at night. They feel as though they're being watched and can feel a great sadness in the area. They say the souls of the victims are trapped, looking to be released from their eternal torture. Well that's a bit terrifying. As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you're enjoying the creepy content, hit that thumbs up button, it really helps us out. If you're new to the channel, then why not subscribe, because we have content just like this coming out each and every week. And this is our Slapterm Shining Pearl.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about witches. From the multiple sightings of witches throughout Mexico to the blood-sucking bruja of Colombian folklore. We take a look at 9 witches caught on camera.
This footage surfaced in 2011. Filmed in Guanajuato, Mexico, a town known for its silver mining and colonial architecture, 2 men spot something terrifying. In an open field at the back of a farm, a strange creature can be seen flying through the air. The man filming yells bruja, which is the Spanish word for witch or sorceress. The unknown creature glides through the air effortlessly and at one point begins chasing one of the men through the field. Practitioners of black magic and members of the occult have long been reported in rural areas of Mexico. Could this video be proof of witchcraft? This footage began circulating in mid-2017. Filmed in Mexico City, it shows a shadowy humanoid figure flying through the sky. The footage was captured on a phone camera by school children during their soccer training. At first, several of the kids laugh nervously as they don't know how to identify the flying figure. Then someone in the crowd screams. There are as many as a dozen witnesses who dubbed the creature a witch, including a gobsmacked teacher who watches on with his students. This footage was captured in the 1970s by German journalist Ralph Olsen, who travelled to Africa. As he travelled through rural villages, he got word of a powerful shaman that lived in the nearby hills. He visited the shaman's campsite and captured this stunning footage. First, the shaman performs a sacred ritual, creating a ring of fire. His acolytes begin chanting as he slowly lifts off the ground, holds for a moment in mid-air, then returns back down. He repeats this process a number of times. When Olsen returned from his trip with the footage, he was ousted from the broadcasting community as a joke, his reputation left in tatters. Decades later, he maintained that the footage was real and was in no way tampered with. What do you think? Is this shaman really levitating, or is the fire a ploy to keep people at a distance so it's harder to see what's going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. There's not a lot of solid information about this clip. All that's known is that the footage was captured by a security camera at Indemil, a military-grade weapons manufacturer in Colombia. One evening, the security team spotted a strange figure lurking around the government-run facility. The footage shows a hunched-over figure limp into the compound. It looks like it's wearing a black cape as it ducks in and out of the shadows. The clip spread quickly around South American social media, many claiming it to be a witch-like creature from Colombian mythology. Others simply dismissed it as a mangy dog looking for food. While this isn't footage of a witch, many have speculated that this young girl was the target of black magic or witchcraft. Several years ago, the girl seen in this clip kept waking up with bruising all over her body. She couldn't explain what was happening, so she decided to set up a camera to film her movements while she slept. What the camera captured is unsettling to say the least. You can see clearly the girl rise out of her bed, float in the air for a moment, then lower back down. When this footage was uploaded to YouTube back in 2009, it swept through social media and forums, begging the question, is it real? The video was recorded by a man in Russia walking his dog through the woods. Everything seems normal until the dog pauses for a moment as if something's wrong. It begins to bark and runs off down a trail. When the man catches up to his dog, he sees something startling. There in the forest is a girl levitating in the air as a friend watches on. Once they realize they've been spotted, the two girls run out of sight. The short, unattributed clip led many to speculate that the girls were practicing witchcraft deep in the woods. Others have simply labelled the video a hoax. Whatever the case may be, it's still a remarkable piece of footage that remains a mystery to this day. In some areas of Colombia, there are tales of a vampire witch woman that feeds on the blood of livestock and wild animals. This footage claims to be a glimpse of one such creature. Taken sometime in early 2013, this footage was captured by a hunter out with his dogs. He claims he was searching a rural property for evidence of the strange blood-sucking witch. In the clip, it's obvious that the dogs pick up the scent of an animal as they begin barking wildly. They hone in on some dense shrubs where suddenly a strange-looking creature lunges out of the dark. The dogs snap and snarl, the hunter takes a shot and brings down the beast. If you slow it down, it's clear some kind of unidentified creature launches out of the darkness, hissing at the dogs. Unfortunately, that's where the footage ends, and there's no further testimony to verify what was lurking in the bushes. Was this just a case of granular footage making it hard to see what happened, or was this La Tunda, the blood-sucking witch from Colombian folklore? Filmed in Monterrey, Mexico, this footage came to light in mid-2017. Initially, it was shared to the Facebook page of a paranormal radio show that airs in the US and Mexico. It claims to be proof of a flying witch that manifests into a magical ball of fire. The family claimed they were spending a quiet evening at home when they heard strange noises. Upon investigating with their camera, they captured this startling footage. Social media was divided when the footage went viral. Some claim it's proof of a coven of witches that have been reported to torment the area. Others say it's merely a lantern that's been set on fire lifting into the air. In the town of Monterrey in the Mexican state of Nuevo León, reports of bruja or witches began surfacing around the city. Then, in May 2006, this striking footage was released to the public. The local media ran with the story, calling it a UFO, but in the acronym's true sense, a literal unidentified flying object. Quickly, it was dubbed the Witch of Monterey, and the story spread like wildfire. In the footage, we clearly see a strange black humanoid figure floating across the mountain range in a straight line. Several days later, 2 police officers claimed they were attacked by 2 hooded creatures in a nearby cemetery. One of the officers said they saw the mysterious beings flying in circles above the graveyard before being attacked. The cemetery is located right under the flight path of the figures seen in this video. Many locals claim witches have haunted the area for centuries, and with the 2 testimonies from police officers along with this footage, one has to wonder what is going on in the city of Monterrey, Mexico.
Well, that was a little bit terrifying. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right there or the red one down below. If you're a regular, leave us a comment. We love reading them. Hit that upward facing thumb as well. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew!
Slap time.
5 real clown stories that'll give you nightmares. Let's face it, no one likes clowns. The once lovable entertainers have, over decades, transformed into symbols of pure terror. Usually and thankfully, they're only the subject of horror films, but the following 5 real-life clown stories will give you chills. Wrinkles the Clown caught on CCTV. This creepy clown known as Wrinkles has been turning up all over Florida. He's been spotted near train stations, by the side of the road, and in parks and playgrounds, terrifying anyone nearby. The man behind the mask is 65-year-old Joel Mason from Collier County. He's a sort of nightmare for hire. One mother recently hired Wrinkles to scare her 12-year-old boy straight. Wrinkles stood across the road from the young boy and stared at him while he waited for his morning bus. The boy started crying in front of his friends and ran home. If that's not creepy enough, here's some CCTV footage of Wrinkles that went viral in late 2014. Greenwood Cemetery Clown. This clown spawn of Satan has been spotted lurking in the Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn. He haunts the grounds carrying a fistful of balloons, standing silently amongst the graves. Security has never been able to catch him. The Jacksonville Clown Sightings. These 3 unsettling sightings in Jacksonville, Florida are enough to make you sell your home and get the hell out of there. Over several months in 2014, a series of bizarre clown sightings began happening across Jacksonville. These horrifying clown hauntings were captured on CCTV systems that the residents had installed in the front of their homes. The first piece of footage shows a clown dressed in red wander up the path uninvited to a home. He lingers there for a moment, just staring. Then weeks later, another home captured footage of a clown eerily staring up at the camera before ripping a pumpkin to pieces. Then yet another clown was spotted loitering on a property for no reason whatsoever. He lights up his face with electronic lights, then wanders back out onto the street. Unsolved clown murder. On May 26, 1990, Marlene Warren answered the door to find a clown standing in front of her with flowers and balloons. The clown raised a gun and shot her once in the face. Marlene's son Joseph heard the gunshot and ran downstairs. He discovered his mother lying dead in a pool of blood. Outside the home, Joseph could see the clown turn to look at him for a moment before getting into a car and speeding off. The 2 major suspects of the crime are Marlene's husband Michael Warren and Sheila Keene, who allegedly had an affair with Mr. Warren. The pair have been linked with several motives, including a hefty life insurance payout, plus the ownership of several properties in a car dealership business. To this day though, no one knows why a clown was involved in the murder. The case remains unsolved. John Wayne Gacy is Pogo the Clown. This notorious serial killer known as Pogo the Clown would entertain children at charity events by day, then brutally murder young boys by night. John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer and rapist from Cook County, Illinois, who murdered at least 33 teenage boys between 1972 and 1978. Typically, he would lure the young men back to his house by force or deception before strangling or stabbing them. Gacy buried 26 bodies in the crawl space of his home. Then, when he ran out of room beneath his house, he was forced to discard the last 4 victims in the Des Plaines River. Gacy was convicted of 33 murders and spent 14 years on death row before being executed by lethal injection on May 10, 1994. Clowns, no thank you. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you don't want to be brutally murdered by a clown. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Facebook and all those other social diddly-bops for daily Slapped Ham antics. And this is the Slapped Ham signing off.
From a butterfly that looks exactly like a dead leaf to an octopus that mimics the colours and behaviour of its predators. Join us as we take a look at the top 10 animals with the best camouflage.
The colouring of the orchid mantis allows it to camouflage perfectly on an orchid flower. Native to the rainforests of Southeast Asia, this amazing creature can grab hold of a flower and sway it back and forth, luring smaller insects closer. It uses a small black dot on its abdomen that resembles a fly to coax its prey within striking distance. It then strikes out with its forearms, capturing its prey. The fantastic leaf-tailed gecko is also known as the Balwang Santanic leaf gecko due to its large red eyes. Native only to the northern and central tropical forests of Madagascar, the gecko's skin matches the colour and patterns of the foliage on surrounding trees. Its camouflage is further enhanced by its tail, which has irregular grooves along its sides resembling the shape of a leaf. The fantastic leaf-tailed gecko uses its effective disguise to avoid predators, and also has the ability to voluntarily shed its tail if attacked. Unlike most of the animals on this list, the spicebush swallowtail caterpillar doesn't use its camouflage to blend into its surroundings. Instead, it uses it to mimic a more dangerous animal, the common green snake. Just before it's ready to pupate, it develops a swollen thorax and 2 large dots that resemble eyes. It also mimics the movements of the snake by rearing up and retracting its head as if it's preparing to strike. This behaviour deters birds from attacking the caterpillar as they are the natural prey of the snake. The tawny frogmouth is a bird found throughout mainland Australia and Tasmania. Its grey and brown streaked plumage allow it to camouflage as a broken tree branch. It will often point its head upwards, further accentuating the shape of the limb it's perched upon. The tawny frogmouth will usually not break its cover unless a predator approaches too close, in which case it will take flight. If threatened, tawny frogmouths will make an alarm call that signals to their chicks to remain motionless and silent, ensuring they do not break their cover. The tasseled anglerfish is only found in the waters off the coast of southeastern Australia. Its body is covered with root-like tentacles that help it to camouflage amongst the coral and sponges found in its natural habitat. When it's motionless, it's almost impossible to spot with the naked eye. The tasseled anglerfish's browny-white colouring and dark red tentacles further add to its disguise, allowing it to blend in with the surrounding plant life. The common barren caterpillar is native to India and Southeast Asia. It feeds on mango and cashew nut trees and is considered a pest in some areas. The ability this creature has to camouflage itself against a leaf is remarkable and helps to protect the caterpillar from hungry predators. The caterpillar's slender hair-like legs blend perfectly with the venation pattern of the leaf, while the lighter streak running down the length of its body seamlessly matches the center line. There are over 200 species of chameleon currently known to scientists. This lizard has the remarkable capability to change the colour of its skin to camouflage amongst its surroundings. It doesn't just use this ability to hide from predators, however. Some chameleons change their colour to attract a mate, signal aggression, or even signal defeat in a fight. Some even turn a darker colour in the morning to help absorb more heat from the sun's rays. The Smith's dwarf chameleon is also known to adjust its colours for camouflage based on the visual capabilities of a specific predator. The chameleon's ability to change its colour is due to its skin. The outer layer is pigmented while underneath is a layer of cells that contain guanine crystals. The chameleon can change the colour of its skin by adjusting the space between the crystals, thus changing the wavelength of light reflected. Also known as stick bugs, leaf insects and phasmids, stick insects are found on every continent on Earth except for Antarctica. They range in size, some as small as 1.5 centimeters, which is around 0.6 inches. While the females of the genus Phobadicus, which are considered the world's longest insects, measure in at nearly 60 centimeters, which is 23.6 inches in length. With a remarkable ability to camouflage themselves amongst tree branches, stick insects are some of the most difficult insects to spot with the naked eye. The dead leaf butterfly gets its name due to its striking resemblance to an actual dead leaf. Its brown wings have darker flecks around the edges that resemble the broken form of a damaged leaf. Native to tropical Asia from India to Japan, this amazing creature camouflages itself amongst tree foliage or fallen leaves on the forest floor. Remarkably, the dead leaf butterfly also exhibits polyphenism, the ability to produce different forms based on dry season and wet season conditions. Both forms are even more suited to camouflage within their environment, and with the wet season variety being smaller and more brightly coloured to further blend in with its surroundings. The mimic octopus is native to the Indo-Pacific Oceans, ranging from New Caledonia through to the Gulf of Thailand and south to Australia's Great Barrier Reef. This remarkable creature takes camouflage to the next level. Not only can it change colour to match its surroundings, it can also mimic other animals' shapes, colours and behaviours to avoid predators. The octopus has been observed mimicking up to 15 different types of marine animal. For example, one specimen was seen to immediately change its behaviour from docile while resting on the ocean floor to sudden overt swimming motions matching the movement of a school of flounder. When attacked by damselfish, the octopus was even observed mimicking a more dangerous animal. It assumed the colour patterns and movements of a black and yellow banded sea snake, a natural predator of the fish.
Well, there's another episode in the can. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to head on over to our Patreon campaign if you want to pitch ideas for top 10s. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about some truly terrifying fictional monsters. And to help us out with this list, we've teamed up with Crypt TV. They're an awesome production company that create high quality scary films for their YouTube channel. They release videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. I highly recommend you check them out. We'll have more about their channel a little later in this video, but without further ado, let's get into this list.
The Thing in the Apartment is a scary short film written and directed by John William Ross for Crypt TV. The story begins with an abrupt phone call from a girl, Lindsay, who claims something visited her in her apartment. She says that a creature appeared out of nowhere right in her room. Her friend Sam must rescue her and confront the thing that's lurking in her apartment. A key plot device used in this film is Lindsay's use of sleeping pills. It makes both Sam and the viewer question whether the monster is real, smudging the lines of reality. This makes for some great tension and jump scares as the true nature of the thing in the apartment unfolds. This is a riveting short film that'll have you questioning every little creak and bump you hear in your dark, empty house. Kinderfanger is a Pied Piper-esque tale about a monster that recruits children to do his bidding. The story begins with a young deaf girl and her family who are searching for their missing brother and son. They search a remote mountainous area hoping to find clues. Soon the young girl wanders off to explore a dark cavernous underpass. Here she happens upon the Kinderfanger performing a ritual, entrancing a number of children including her brother. The Kinderfanger is a black skeletal figure that floats about in a puff of smoke. It uses a pipe to play music that spellbinds the children. Our protagonist, however, is immune to the musical curse and moves in to help save her brother. If you're looking for something spooky to watch, then this short film is hard to pass up. It's a fresh take on an old tale seething with mystery and adventure. Oh, and the twist at the end is a real killer. Mordio is an experimental ultra-short film that raises more questions than it cares to answer. The clip begins with a cannibal deep in the woods feasting on the organs of another man. His meal is interrupted by the sound of a twig snapping behind him. He turns to see a scary monster watching him from afar. Bizarrely, the corpse on the ground begins to talk. He speaks of an entity known as Mordeo, a strange creature that claims ownership of anyone that eats flesh in the Enchanted Woods. The cannibal begins to transform into a grotesque monster with antlers. He howls and feasts on the corpse, preparing for something known as the Blood Hunt. This doozy of a short film will leave you confused and on edge, something all great horror movies should do. I would suggest perhaps watching this one with a friend. One Please is a quirky arthouse style short film that introduces a truly chilling new monster, the Ice Cream Man. This unnerving 5-minute story depicts life in a dystopian suburban town. On the surface, everything appears normal. The sun is shining, mum's making dinner, dad's reading the paper. However, when you notice that some people are missing fingers, questions start getting raised. Suddenly, when a mysterious ice cream truck visits the town, things get even stranger. It would appear to get an ice cream you need to pay with more than just money. And we'll leave this one here as I don't want to ruin the shocking twist this little gem has to offer. I highly recommend watching this one all alone at 2 AM in a very dark room. The Sunny Family Cult is a series of short films produced by Crypt TV. They follow protagonist Taylor, the young daughter of a leader of an infamous sect known as the Sunny Family Cult. The cult, known for their unsettling masks, are hell-bent on disrupting the banality of suburban life. They've taken it upon themselves to outlay their own brand of justice on society, which means they'll murder pretty much anyone that's not part of their group. The most interesting thread in this series is the impact cult life has on Taylor. She grows increasingly violent as she strives to impress her murderous father, who has forcefully impressed this strange way of life on her. However, her character begins to question the seemingly random acts of violence and secretly yearns for a different way of life. The Sunny Family Cult is a strange and twisted ride. It's a brutal tale that hits a chilling vein when you think about some of the bloodshed caused by real cults throughout history. It just goes to show you don't need to be inhuman to be a monster. Mirror Mirror takes a disconcerting look at narcissism and what it means to be self-obsessed in a digital world. The plot follows a young, self-absorbed girl who would rather take selfies than spend some time with her boyfriend. After a few posts to social media, things take a dark turn. As the girl preens herself in front of the mirror, her skin begins to change. It grows pale and a strange wound appears on her forehead. Suddenly, her reflection reaches out and pulls her into a dark mirror world. It's from here that the girl can see out into the real world. In her place is a mutilated, corpse-like monster that mimics putting on lipstick. The girl's boyfriend reacts to the noise and comes to see what's happened. From here, the creepy monster sets a trap that leads to a terrifying ending. Next time you're doing your hair in the mirror, think of this little gem and what it would be like being pulled into an alternate universe by a hacked-up corpse demon. If you yourself cannot release, then it will come to take a piece, is the chilling calling card of the Look-See, a scary monster dreamt up in the dark offices of Crypt TV. Written and directed by Landon Starmer, The Look-See is a terrifying series of short films about letting go. This eerie, well-dressed creature seems to feed on those who are dwelling on something, whether it's the loss of a loved one, obsessing over another person, or the raw memories of an ex-husband. Whatever it is, The Look-See thrives on it. The pacing and editing are what stand out with these movies. They capitalise on the fear of the unknown, taking every opportunity to spring a jump scare on the viewer whenever they can. The quick cuts and edgy sound design make for a delightfully unsettling experience. Make sure you check under your bed before watching this one. This is a very creepy short film that's best watched late at night. The Birch is a Webby Award-winning short film from Crypt TV and Bloody Cuts. It's about a bullied boy who resorts to an ancient ritual to defend himself. The result is a monster that blurs the lines between protection and danger. The tension starts high as the first shot of the film shows an unnerving, blood-covered boy with a knife. This shocking opener sets the tone for the entire film, which never quite lets you get comfortable. The Birch is an ancient being that fiercely protects the family it's loyal to. It has a violent propensity for bloodlust and will stop at nothing to satisfy its conjurer. Co-written and directed by Ben Franklin and Anthony Melton, The Birch has been seen by millions of viewers. When it was first uploaded to YouTube in mid-2017, audiences couldn't get enough of this terrifying creature. The character modelling is first class. The special effects makeup and character creation were brought to life by Cliff Wallace, best known for his work on Hellboy 2 and 28 Days Later. The editing and sound design are fantastic too. A series of mixed vignettes lead to the climax of the film that is strangely satisfying yet completely unnerving at the same time. The hellish facial expression of the monster right at the end is bound to stay with you for a while.
Now I want to give a huge shout out to Crypt TV for helping out with this list. As I mentioned at the start of the video, they produce high quality scary content each and every week. They release videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. I highly recommend you jump on over and check out their channel. There's some links in the description box below and a link should appear right here. Head on over, show them some love, subscribe if you like what you see as well. Oh, and one more thing I should mention. The hell was that?
Slap him.
6 most shocking moments caught live on stream. Live streaming is a relatively new social trend that allows viewers direct access to other people's lives. From a girl nearly losing her eye to a house catching fire. Join us as we take a look at 6 of the most shocking moments caught live on stream. Scratching post. This first video is of 22-year-old Twitch gamer Sarah Kate. At first it's just a standard night of streaming Call of Duty gameplay on Twitch, but then her cat pays her a visit she'll never forget.
Hey.
After her cat Olive nearly scratches her eyeball clean out, she runs around the room in a panic. She tries to make a phone call, then desperately asks her Twitch audience what she should do. Since the horrifying incident, Sarah Kate has become very popular on Twitch, running regular live gaming sessions as well as selling Sarah Kate Eye Scratch t-shirts. Kutra gets swatted. In 2014, Jordan Mathewson, known online as Kutra, was playing first-person shooter Counter-Strike when he began hearing some strange noises coming from the other rooms in the house.
I think you're getting swatted. What in the world?
Put your hands up! Get your hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! There's one in the corner. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands on your back! Put your hands on your back. Do it now. Don't you fucking move. You hear me, boy?
Known as swatting, this prank can occur when other players or even viewers watching the live stream call the police and report illegal activity taking place at the home of the gamer. On this particular occasion, the anonymous caller reported that Mathewson had shot 2 co-workers and was holding other hostages at gunpoint. Authorities warn that this highly dangerous prank wastes valuable resources, and anyone caught doing so will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Highest donations on Twitch. For many, the idea of receiving donations just for playing video games seems astounding, but for those within the Twitch microcosm, small donations are an everyday occurrence. However, sometimes those small donations turn large and can have a dramatic impact on the gamer's life. First up, we have Kitty Plays Games. While doing her usual morning stream, she is stunned by a massive $7,000 US donation.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
While $7,000 may seem like an outrageous donation, it gets even bigger. A mysterious Twitch viewer known only as Amhigh routinely drops astounding sums of money on gamers. Popular streamer Soda Poppin received $50,000 US over the course of several months. Then, in early 2015, a French streamer called Liberty of Gaming received a mind-blowing 69,000 euros over the course of a live stream. No one knows for sure who this enigmatic donator is. Some say he's a billionaire oil tycoon with cash to splash. Others say he's just a wealthy guy that gets a kick out of helping people. Whoever he is, Twitch streamers all over the world are just waiting for him to strike again.
Avec le oui, le... Regarde!
Housefire. Little is known about the origins of this clip. Filmed in late 2015, a Japanese gamer, while live on Twitch, is seen playing around with lighter fluid and a box of matches. After catching the whole box of matches on fire, the scene quickly escalates as every attempt to put out the fire only seems to exacerbate the problem. First he tries a couple of drops of water. Then he takes the giant bag of flames over to a pile of cardboard. Then it's a small bowl of water. Another small bowl of water. Eventually it gets so out of hand he just leaves the house entirely. Domestic abuse. Just a quick warning before this clip, it contains some very graphic audio. The content is of a very serious nature. If you don't want to watch, then click away now. If you or anyone you know is involved with domestic abuse, please contact the police immediately. On May 2nd, 2016, Twitch streamer JoeDaddy505 was caught abusing a woman after he accidentally left his live stream going.
Fucking dirty bitch, you dirty bitch. You dirty bitch. You really dirty bitch. Every fucking doctor taught you. Every doctor taught you.
The clip, which is a little over 5 minutes long, features a woman screaming and crying as a male continually belittles and abuses her. The following day, JoeDaddy505 uploaded a video which was subsequently deleted, claiming that he was drunk and that he never hit anyone. As interest in the scandal grew, JoeDaddy announced that he did assault his partner, but tried to justify his actions by saying that he was drunk, she hit him first, and that the recent passing of his father played a contributing role in what took place. Authorities got a hold of the recording and are currently investigating the matter. Court fiddler. Late April 2016, YouTuber and online gamer Philip Burnell, better known as DSP Gaming, was caught playing with his, joystick live on stream. Just prior to a scheduled stream session, Burnell didn't realise he'd turned his webcam on and decided to indulge in a little pre-game warm-up session. Later, when he realised that the camera had been on the whole time, is a moment of pure white-hot embarrassment.
What is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello.
Well, I sure am glad my webcam isn't on at the moment because I'm not wearing any pants. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the content. If you're new, then hit that big old red subscribe button. And this is the Slap Term Shining Wall. Slap. Most hilarious CCTV footage ever taken. Some argue we're in a surveillance state. Well, I would argue that we wouldn't have this hilarious footage if it weren't for Big Brother. From men falling through roofs to an out-of-control cruise liner. Join us as we take a look at the most hilarious CCTV footage ever taken. Number 10. Here we have a dude overstacking a shelf with some wine. What could possibly go wrong? Number 9. Now it's time to play. How many times can this guy fall through a roof? Number 8. Here's some CCTV footage in a boring golf pro shop. What could possibly happen next?
Hey, Ron. Hey, Billy. That hurt. That hurt. Alright, don't move a muscle. I'm fine.
This poor guy's probably got internal bleeding, but all his buddy does is take a snap for Facebook. I guess that's what happens when you get a hole in one. Kidney. Number 7. So it's obvious this person is having a little trouble driving. It looks like they stole the car, so they're probably feeling a little anxious, and then this happens. Number 6. Santa seems to have forgotten where he parked his sleigh. I sure hope it wasn't full of presents for all the good little children of the world. Number 5. So many a fine folk of the internet think this one is a fake, and with good reason, but there is a part of me that desperately wants it to be real. It's just too good. Number 4. There's nothing quite like a cruise to help you forget about the stress of the world. That is, unless you've sailed straight into a tsunami. Number 2. Here's a girl working late nights as a waitress to save up for her trip. Through the window. Number 1. Don't you just hate it when your GPS tells you to take the next left straight through a shopping mall?
Yahoo!
Question time. Now, we haven't done one of these in a long time, so here goes. If you could create some fake CCTV footage, what would happen? What would the camera capture? Let us know in the comments section below, and the best, most hilarious creations will feature in our next Q&A. Well, hey, how about that footage? As always, thanks heaps for watching. If you like this footage, then hit that thumbs up button, because then we know you're enjoying the content. If you haven't already, hit that big old red subscribe button, because we have new stuff coming out each and every week. And this is the Slap Ham signing off.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. From haunted hospitals to eerie schools, we count the 10 most haunted places in the Philippines. And before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more creepy content just like this.
Fort Santiago was the butchering site of hundreds of soldiers and civilians during the Second World War. Intramuros was further devastated in 1945 as the Americans fought the Japanese, resulting in the deaths of thousands as the city burnt to ashes. Today there are sightings of ghost soldiers patrolling at night. Moreover, there were reported screams of persecutions and torture that echo throughout the city walls when darkness sets in. Fort Santiago was a defense fortress built by Miguel López de Legazpi, a Spanish conquistador. The fort forms part of Intramuros' city structures and was a holding place for the famous Filipino hero Jose Rizal. He was executed in 1896. His final footsteps from the cell to the execution grounds have been bronzed on the floor. Visitors report an eerie feeling as they follow these bronzed footsteps, with many saying they've felt his touch. Others have even passed out on the spot. Another World War II victim, the Diplomat Hotel, is now an eerie structure in Dominican Hill. Apparently it was the beheading site of priests and nuns during the war. People in the nearby area perpetually report hearing howls and screams at all times of the day. The Diplomat's former employees claim that there are headless ghosts that traverse the long dark hallways of the hotel, carrying their heads on plates. The Diplomat used to be a seminary and rest house before being converted to a hotel in 1911. It was the actual beheading of numerous members of the clergy in its grounds that is attributed to the sightings of headless apparitions by guests and employees. The death of its owner in 1987, spiritual healer Tony Agpaeo, saw to the hotel closing shop. It remains off limits to both visitors and the public. Nevertheless, nearby villages still hear disturbing sounds emanating from Dominican Hill during the night. Dishes clattering, doors banging, and agonizing screams are pretty much a common occurrence. The Ozone Disco was once a hit club in Quezon City. In 1996, however, over 160 people lost their lives in this hotspot. The disco caught fire, and because of mass panicking, many didn't make it out. People near the former club's location still report hearing ghostly disco music at night, accompanied by faint apparitions dancing. The disco had its premises along Timog Avenue in Quezon City. It was opened by Sergio Agao in 1991. The premises previously housed a jazz club known as Birdland. On March 18, 1996, a fire broke out. At the time, Ozone had over 350 patrons and 40 employees in a space meant for just 35 occupants. Sadly, the majority of the patrons were college and high school attendants. It's reported that sparks started flying out of the DJ's booth, followed by smoke, which everyone considered to be part of the party act. After subduing the fire, bodies were found piled up waist high at the club's only exit. The fire exit, on the other hand, had been blocked by another building. It's also said that the disco's bouncers apparently locked the main exit from outside, fearing a riot. Today, the former club's burnt-out shell remains vacant and undisturbed, save for the perennial ghost sightings, voices, and strange music. The cool weather in Baguio City has made it the unofficial summer capital of the Philippines for a long time. As such, it wasn't a surprise when American teachers chose this city as a training site in the 1900s. Since then, the teachers' camp has been used as a training, retreat, or seminar centre. Nevertheless, reports of ghost sightings are rampant in these grounds. Both visitors and caretakers say they hear a lady crying in the nearby cottages, or heavy footsteps in the hallways. Other common reports are that of a headless priest and a white lady walking around the grounds. Some guests have even reported being woken up at exactly 3 AM by a white lady oozing blood. This was an American settlement that faced some major bombing in World War II by the Japanese. One of these was an air raid on Christmas Day of 1941, when American soldiers were partying inside the home plate canteen. Apparently, the partying souls have not missed a beat or are unaware of their demise. Early morning joggers often report hearing excited talk and music inside the grounds, even though they're evidently empty. The abandoned Clark Air Base Hospital is another site for paranormal activity. In addition to hearing mysterious voices and seeing apparitions, violent spirits started terrorizing the grounds, which led to the area being rendered off-limits to everyone. At the Clark Museum, sightings of a ghost of a serviceman that hung himself in the premises still haunt the property. Needless to say, Clark Air Base has had a long, turbulent and bloody history. This airbase was also the evacuation site for soldiers during the Vietnam War. Death and trauma resulting from the conflict has also been attributed to the presence of spirits in the hospital. The now ruined Clark Base Hospital is a hub for ghostly activity. Swing sets moving back and forth inexplicably, voices in empty buildings, dancing orbs of light, apparitions that bear battle scars floating around, and other occurrences have been reported times. Visitors have even had objects thrown at them from nowhere. Several TV crews have attempted to investigate the authenticity of these claims. Most of them were so badly frightened that they didn't stick around to complete production. It seems World War II still has lingering effects in the Philippines in the form of terrifying hauntings. The Los Banos campus certainly has its fair share. Not only did the campus witness the war, but it's also located at the foot of a spooky mountain, Mount Makiling. There are reported sightings of the Capre, a Filipino mythical creature. These creatures are said to be tall, hairy and muscular, and often attract attention due to their peculiar smell. Ancient stories claim that these beasts can be vengeful and violent if their habitat is threatened, often clubbing intruders to death. It's also said that they are mischievous creatures that play tricks on people. Students often report that the university's bridges always seem longer to cross during the nighttime, leaving some to believe they're being stalked by the Capre. Additionally, the campus is close to Baker Hill, an infamous Japanese war camp. It's said that ghosts of former prisoners linger in the area, unaware of their demise. Students often say they've seen soldiers walking around the grounds of the university. They look shell-shocked and confused, wandering around aimlessly. When approached by staff or students, they seem to stare right through them before turning into a strange mist and disappearing altogether. People who have had these experiences report overwhelming depression and anxiety in the subsequent days. It's as though the fear and sadness of the soldiers has transferred into them. To this day, no one has been able to explain these mysterious events. San Jose is the capital town in the province of Antique on Panay Island. Locals believe the area is haunted by ghost pirates. They say the pirates lurk in the shadows near the docks. It's thought that these ghost pirates will fiercely defend their territory, guarding their hoards of treasure from years gone by. San Jose also has churches that were built on top of burial grounds by the Spanish. Many people report these churches to be among the most haunted places in the Philippines. Some say the area is tormented by a mythical creature known as a whack-whack, the supposed bird form of a vampire or witch. These wild creatures are known to tear the flesh from animals and humans and gorge on the spilled blood. Graves in the local cemetery are often adorned with garlic and surrounded by lines of salt in an effort to repel these evil creatures. Ballet Drive is famous for sightings of a ghost white lady, in addition to numerous haunted houses which were constructed during the 19th century. This area is abundant with ballet trees, which are said to be a favourite resting grounds for lost and wandering spirits. It's said that they sit in ballet trees waiting to prey on their next victim. It's believed that the ghost white lady was a woman who was accosted and raped by Japanese soldiers during World War II. Her corpse was reportedly not even buried. It was thrown into a ditch by the road where it remained for several years. Bit by bit, the body was picked apart by rats, birds, insects and other creatures. It's claimed that part of her hair and bones are buried in underground rats' holes or perched in branches as part of birds' nests. Her face is said to have been taken by the man who killed her as a personal souvenir. It's believed that her spirit still searches for the man and his descendants to exact her revenge. Those who have witnessed her ghost advise motorists to avoid Ballet Drive at all costs, particularly if you're alone. If you have to use the route, ensure your backseat is full and that no one looks behind them or into their mirrors. If you take a taxi cab along this route, you'll notice the driver's edginess when you come near the spot. If either of you notices her, you're in for a violent death. You can only mitigate this disastrous outcome by fasting and reciting the Holy Rosary for the next 3 days. Only then will you be spared. Those who have seen the White Lady's ghost and lived to tell the tale report of seeing an apparition wearing a long white and blood-stained gown. It is tattered and ripped, and she is sporting long dishevelled hair. Her face is indistinguishable and covered with dripping blood. The modern tale of her story purports that she faced a gruesome death by the hands of a taxi driver. Coincidentally, almost anyone that reports of her sighting is either a sole driver or a motorcyclist. The San Juan area is home to strange stories. One of these tales is about the Pasatsat, ghosts from the Second World War. Because graveyards and coffins were too pricey for the natives, they instead wrapped their dead in reed mats. Apparently, if someone becomes haunted by a Pasatsat, they need to find their grave and stab their reed coffin to lay the angry spirit to rest. Pasatsat means to stab. That's not all, there is a devil man in San Juan whose MO is to ask for cigars. Those that have encountered the devil man report that instead of a face, he has extreme darkness in its place and usually dons a wide-brimmed hat. Give him a cigarette and you'll be okay. He also has a penchant for native cigarettes. San Juan also has a headless nun that was reportedly beheaded by the Spanish. If you see her and she touches you on your left shoulder, you'll either go mad or die instantly. Before we get to the number one spot and find out where the most haunted place in the Philippines is, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be up to date with all our latest creepy content. Among the most haunted places in the Philippines, the Manila Film Center has to take first place. It's said that the spirits of those died constructing the center still roam around the area looking for live bodies to inhabit. The bizarre stories behind the Manila Film Center began in the 1980s construction. Apparently, the construction was rushed in a bid to meet the date of a certain festival. This led to the ceiling scaffolding collapsing and sending the men working on it plummeting down to their deaths. Instead of retrieving the bodies or rescuing the survivors, the First Lady, Imelda Marcos, who was the project's chief financier, ordered that cement be poured where the men had landed, entombing them forever. Since then, there have been strange happenings all around the facility. Even though the film center is still operational, it's marred by controversy and paranormal activities. People often report things moving on their own, loud banging and strange whispering. Some have said they've heard crying coming from the toilets, but when they go to investigate, there's no one there.
Well, there's some more awesome creepy content for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying it, hit that upward facing thumb. Leave us a comment down below which one of these stories you thought was the creepiest. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about some super creepy alien encounters. From a woman who says she's been abducted by aliens too many times to remember, to a man who says he's fathered children with a female extraterrestrial creature. We count 10 famous alien abduction cases that have left the government worried. And before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
Hilary Porter, a Wales native, has reported that she's been abducted by extraterrestrials on numerous occasions throughout her life. Hilary remembers an incident that occurred when she was just 5. As she was playing in a bush with long grass behind her house, a reptilian-like ET that had black holes for a mouth and nose and scaly skin appeared. She describes it as being exceptionally strong and standing over 5 feet tall. The creature then proceeded to grab her and carry her to a disc-shaped ship. Hilary was then stripped bare and put upon a bed where the ET began prodding her with a variety of instruments. It was at this moment that Porter blacked out. Many years later, Hilary was driving with her husband when they suddenly arrived at a garage. Neither of them remember how they got there. Later that day, as she was undressing, she noticed a triangular red suction mark on her belly. After being abducted countless times, Miss Porter claims to regularly suffer from migraines, as well as waking up with bloodstains on her clothes and bruises and scratches on her body at various times. Hilary, who has even worked for the Ministry of Defence, has recreated images from her memories of these extraterrestrials. She also claims of being able to communicate with these beings telepathically, and that their purpose of visiting Earth is to collect human genetic material. On September 19, 1961, an American couple, Betty and Barney Hill, claimed to have been abducted by aliens. Their detailed accounts would become known as the flagship case of alien encounters. It all began on their way home to New Hampshire from visiting Niagara Falls. While driving down Route 3, Betty noticed a strange light in the sky. At first she thought it must have been a falling star, only it began to move erratically in different directions. After watching the strange light for some time, the couple pulled over just south of Twin Mountain so they could take a better look. Betty examined the bright light with a pair of binoculars, and what she saw was a spinning disc with what appeared to be windows running its length. At first they thought it was simply an airliner, but the craft suddenly descended in their direction with bright flashing lights. The couple returned to their car and drove to a nearby mountain pass, Franconian Notch. For some time they watched the object as it flew back and forth across the night sky, until it suddenly descended once more and hovered just above the car. Barney slammed on his brakes and exited the vehicle. He could see 8 to 11 humanoid figures peering out of the windows of the craft. Barney claims that one of the beings communicated with him, "Stay where you are and keep looking," as a long structure lowered from the hull of the craft. Barney ran back to the car hysterically shouting, "They're going to capture us." The couple drove off at high speed, but the sky suddenly became black and empty. Almost immediately the couple could hear a strange rhythmic beep or buzzing sound surround the car. It bounced off the car and left Betty and Barney with a pulsing, tingling sensation through their bodies before a second wave of beeps took place. The couple noticed they had driven 56 kilometers in just a few minutes. They felt numb and their minds were dull. Upon arriving home in the early hours of the morning, Betty and Barney found that their memories of the previous night were fragmented while having strange impulses. Betty insisted that her luggage be kept at the rear of the house and not in the usual spot. Barney felt the urge to examine his genitals over and over. Their watches stopped giving time. Mysterious concentric circles were found on their car that would send compasses into a spin. Betty found one of her dresses to be irreparably damaged, covered in a strange pink powder. However, she placed the clothing on the line and the pink powder blew away. The clothes were subjected to tests from 5 independent laboratories. On September 21, Betty phoned Pease Air Force Base to report the UFO incident. She was interviewed by Major W. Henderson, who would file a report stating that the Hills had misidentified Jupiter. The report was later changed a number of times from optical condition to inversion and finally insufficient data. The couple would later go on to try hypnosis in an attempt to unlock the blurry memories of the encounter. They were referred by psychiatrist Dr. Stevens to hypnotist Benjamin Simon of Boston. Barney's hypnotherapy sessions revealed memories of being taken aboard a craft and getting examined by 3 humanoid figures. Under the hypnosis, Barney said things like, "Oh, those eyes, they're there in my brain, and I was told to close my eyes because I saw 2 eyes coming close to mine, and it felt like the eyes had pushed into my eyes." Barney described a dome-shaped object placed over his genitals to retrieve a sperm sample. A long tube was inserted into his anus, his skin was scraped. The humanoid examiners studied his ears, hair and teeth. One seemed to be counting the vertebrae of Barney's spine. The beings seemed to be communicating through telepathy, and a strange and unknown language was heard by Barney several times during the encounter. Betty's sessions were remarkably similar to Barney's, with many matching and telling details. She showed considerable emotional stress during one of the sessions, which had to be ended early due to anxiety. During one session, Betty recalled a star map that had been shown during the abduction. Dr. Simon suggested she recreate the star map as a way of processing her memories more clearly. She drew the map and explained that the long solid lines were trade routes, while the dotted lines were stars less visited. Local newspapers broke the story to the public, with the Boston Traveler boasting the front page headline, "UFO Chiller, Did They Seize Couple?" In 1966, writer John G. Fuller, with the aid of the Hills and Dr. Simon, wrote a book detailing the abduction called The Interrupted Journey, which became a huge success. The book featured Betty's famous star map. The encounter has since been a constant fuel for fascination in the media. Movies, TV shows, documentaries have all featured the Hills' mysterious encounter on September 19, 1961. November of 1975 saw a couple of lumberjacks in Arizona reporting having seen their workmate Travis Walton being lifted through the air via a beam of light emanating from a craft above the trees. Even though the lumberjacks reported Travis as missing, the police suspected that his colleagues had murdered him and disposed of his body. Nevertheless, Travis appeared 5 days later claiming that he had been captured by aliens. He recalled waking up on a table surrounded by little creatures in orange gowns. He described their skin as being smooth and chalky with bald heads that were disproportionate to their bodies. Also, their eyes were shiny, brown and huge. Walton then escaped from the creatures and met some humans on board the UFO who were dressed in blue overalls. Instead of speaking to him, the humans applied a gas mask on his face which made him lose consciousness. The next thing Travis remembered was waking up on a roadside in Arizona. Many of the stories that involve being abducted by aliens usually miss one important element that can verify their credibility: a witness. Well, this particular incident, which occurred in 1976, involved 4 men that reported to have experienced the same abduction. It was a secret that they almost went to their graves with. These men were in Maine in a canoe trying to catch some fish when they observed a gleaming object in the sky that was about 80 feet in diameter, with constantly changing yellow, green and red colours. The men then watched as the object came down and beamed them together with their canoe with a blinding light. It was only after several hours that they came to with no recollection whatsoever of what had happened during the abduction. Shortly after, they all began experiencing nightmares. They were all put under hypnosis where they revealed that their abductors were not people from Earth. Additionally, they took lie detector tests about their claims, which they passed. Air Force Sergeant Charles L. Moody was in Alamogordo, New Mexico when he encountered a disc-shaped object, which was metallic and glowing as he was observing a meteor shower. The object departed the shower and fell about 300 feet away. Frightened, Moody tried desperately to start his car, but it wouldn't turn over. The UFO hovered close to Moody's car, which he claims he could see several shadowy figures standing in a rectangular window on the side of the craft. It was at this point Moody felt a strange buzzing sensation and a wash of lethargy fell over him. The next thing he remembers is that the UFO flew away. Suddenly his car engine started and he drove off in a cloud of dust. When Moody arrived home, he was shocked to realise that it was 3 AM and that nearly 1.5 hours had passed unaccounted for. Over the following few days, strange ailments began to appear through Moody's body. He suffered from a bizarre lower back pain, had a rash all over his lower body, and had bouts of inexplicable anxiety. Moody went to a doctor who suggested the symptoms were due to stress. The doctor suggested hypnotherapy to work through some of the anxiety. It was in these hypno sessions that terrifying memories began flooding back. Moody recalled 2 beings about 6 foot in height standing over him while lying on his back. Next to the 2 taller creatures was a shorter one that seemed to be a leader of some kind. It was wearing a silver suit and had whitish grey skin with a large bald head. He then claims he was shown around the ship. The aliens showed Moody something they referred to as the drive unit and explained that they were only on a landing craft. The mothership was apparently in orbit some 400 miles away. At this point, the Air Force sergeant was made unconscious again. Moody awoke in his car, dazed and confused as to what just happened. This is among the earliest known alien abduction cases and was reported by the Stockton Evening Mail in 1896. Colonel Shaw had been travelling in a horse carriage together with a companion and they were headed towards Lodi, California. Their horses suddenly became startled after they saw 3 strange beings by the side of the road. The creatures appeared to be slender humanoids that were about 7 feet tall, bald with soft velvet skin covering their bodies. They didn't communicate but rather warbled towards them in a strange chant. They were holding lamps that seemed to shine unnaturally bright. Humanoids were indescribably beautiful according to Shaw. They attempted to lift him and carry him away, but Shaw proved to be too heavy for them. They then put him down and floated away. Shaw attempted to follow them, but they reached a huge spaceship which flew away, extracting his sperm to make a crossbreed with an extraterrestrial female. Long says that in 1990 the aliens presented to him a baby that they claim was his. He was then introduced to a further 9 of his hybrid alien kids. Antonio Villas Boas, a Brazilian farmer, saw a red-like star in October 1957. As the light got closer, Boas began making out the shape of a spaceship. It used 3 leg-like structures to land on his field. He attempted to escape in his tractor but was quickly captured by a small humanoid that had blue eyes. Boas says he was taken to the ship and covered with a gel-like substance. He claims to have been forced into having sex with a female creature that had pubic hair which glowed red. The aim of the aliens was to create hybrids that would be raised in outer space. He was then escorted from the craft and arrived on Earth about 4 hours later. Boas had burns on his body and complained of nausea and headaches. Doctors eventually diagnosed him of radiation sickness. Harold Dahl and Fred Chrisman claim they were working as harbour patrolmen near Maury Island when they observed about 6 disc-shaped objects approximately 2,000 feet above their boat. It's approximated that they were about 100 feet in diameter plus a central hole which was about 25 feet. According to the 2 men, one of the craft poured a strange substance that resembled lava or white metal onto their boat. The mysterious liquid is thought to have broken a worker's arm and killed a dog as it landed on their boat. Dahl claims that he was later contacted by a strange man wearing a black suit and was told not to talk about the Maury Island incident. Later, Chrisman and Dahl were contacted by an Air Force intelligence officer who was curious about the case. After recording all the details of the encounter, the Air Force officer died in a mysterious car crash on his way back to California. Some historians think that the Maury Island incident was a hoax. They believe Chrisman and Dahl made the whole thing up in an effort to sell the story for money to a local magazine. Others think the encounter has too many details to be possibly fake. It's now known as one of the most famous alien encounter cases in recorded history. Before we get to the number 1 spot and take a look at one of the most detailed alien abduction cases ever recorded, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be up to date with all our latest content. On January 25, 1976, Betty Andreessen Luca was in the kitchen of her home at South Ashburnham, Massachusetts, while her father, mother and her 7 children were in the living room. At around 6:30 p.m, the lights in the house suddenly flickered and went dark for a moment. This was followed by a reddish-orange pulsating light that shined through the kitchen window. She says she began calming her frightened kids as her father went to look at the situation. This is when he saw a clique of strange-looking humanoids approaching the house in a hopping motion. The 5 creatures came into the house through the wooden door. The frightened family was then suspended into the air in a state of unawareness. One of the creatures then went over to her dad while the leader of the ETs approached Betty and established telepathic communication with her. He seemed to be about 5 feet tall while the other 4 looked to be around 4 feet tall. Additionally, they had pear-shaped heads, wide eyes and very small noses and ears. Their mouths, it seemed, were slits that looked like scar lines to Betty. Additionally, each of the creatures had a blue uniform complete with a brown belt. There was also an insignia of a bird which was fixed on their sleeves. They only had 3 digits on their hands, they had boot-like attire on their feet and seemed to float instead of walk. Nevertheless, Betty's initial feelings of fright were quickly calmed by an overpowering sensation of friendship. When Betty expressed her concern for her family, the beings released her daughter, Becky, who was 11 at the time, temporarily from her unawareness state, to assure her that they meant well. Betty was then taken outside and made to board a small craft that was perched on the side of the hill, whose slope faced Betty's backyard. The craft looked somewhat like 2 saucers, with one inverted on top of the other, with a small structure at the top. This small craft then ascended and joined a larger parent craft in the sky. It was here that Betty underwent a series of physical examinations using strange equipment. Moreover, she described being taken to a strange place where she was given lessons on some bizarre object, which made her have painful yet ecstatic sensations. She was then returned by 2 ETs back home at around 10:40 p.m. Here she found her family still in a suspended animation, with one being that had been left behind to watch over them. The creatures then used some form of mind control to remove them from the suspended state, put them into bed and then left. Betty says that the ETs had instructed her to forget about them until the time was right, and that there were certain memories locked in her mind that she would unlock in due time. Betty was a devout Christian who had never heard of anything to do with extraterrestrials before that, and actually thought the creatures to be from her religious beliefs. Additionally, she had only had 10 years of schooling, and her interests only revolved around her family and church. A year-long investigation was carried out to determine the authenticity of her claims, where she and her daughter were passed through lie detector tests, hypnotic regression sessions, and character reference checks. Both Betty and her daughter passed the tests.
Well, our alien overlords are nearly here and I'm about to be probed. So before that happens, remember to hit that subscribe button or leave us a comment down below which one of these alien abduction stories you thought was the creepiest. And that's it from me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about creepy ghost footage. From the haunted halls of a school in Ireland to some poltergeist activity in a Malaysian mosque. Join us as we take a look at some really creepy ghost footage that'll give you chills.
At around 3 AM on October 1st, 2017 at the Deer Park CBS school in Ireland, a security camera captured some striking footage. Down the long dark hallway, a door abruptly opens then slams shut. Moments later, a column of lockers starts inexplicably shaking. A single locker door flies open, emptying books and paper onto the ground. Then, a caution wet floor sign left out by a janitor flips violently onto the ground. When asked about the alleged ghost footage, Deer Park's principal, Aaron Wolf, denies that it was a hoax, saying, "If it's a prank, we don't know how it was done. Motion sensors were set off at this time, that's how it was caught." The school has a history of ghost sightings. One teacher claims that they heard a trumpet playing down a hallway while staying the night at the school. They said they couldn't find the source of the music and left immediately. On another occasion, a student said they heard crying coming from the bathroom, but when they went in, no one was there. Others have said they've seen lights flick on and off, and cold spots have been reported in the very hallway this footage was taken. This video was recorded by a security camera at the Kampung Tadung Mosque in Malaysia. At a little after 3 AM on the 28th of the 5th, 2016, strange activity began happening at this local place of worship. In the video, we see two partitions begin to move on their own. They move about the floor, sliding back and forth. They move independently of each other and too erratically to be pulled by rope or wire. According to the New Straits Times, a local newspaper in Malaysia, Malacca Chief Minister Datuk Seri Idri Hiron called for an official investigation into the footage. He invited religious authorities and local scientists to review the security tapes. He also stated he didn't think the video was a hoax, as the movement of the partitions appeared to be random, he said. When the footage was posted to Facebook, it quickly went viral, dividing the community on plausible explanations. Some commentators noted that it could be wind, while others were quick to call it poltergeist activity. Whatever the case may be, it makes for some striking footage. The outcome of the official investigation is not known. Staying in Malaysia, this time we take a look at some security footage in a police station. Filmed in mid-2017 at the Bandar Halal police station in Malacca, a usual quiet evening was playing out when something truly bizarre happened. In the footage, we see several police officers working at the reception desk of the department. Suddenly, two glass doors fly open, one of them shattering on impact. The officers stand up, startled and confused as to what just happened. Shocked, they slowly begin to investigate the scene. They search outside as more officers are drawn to the commotion. It's possible that strong winds played a role in the incident, sweeping through one door, creating enough force to push open the second door, shattering it against the wall. However, the first door opens inwards while the second door opens outward, which doesn't suggest a current of wind could funnel through a building like that. Plus, it looks like the first door may lead to an office or another indoor room, which completely rules out wind altogether. What do you think happened in this Malaysian police station? Is it haunted or was it just wind? Let us know in the comments section below. This footage was taken in late 2014 in a pharmacy in Egypt. At around 3 AM, strange things start to happen in the store. The TVs start flickering and a chair begins to move on its own. It rises into the air, then abruptly falls to the ground. Moments later, some kind of powder or liquid spatters onto the ground. We then see a different security camera show some kind of strange liquid forming on the cabinet of the store. When this video was uploaded, it spread quickly across social media, garnering thousands of views. Commentators have noted that it's rare for security cameras to capture sound, something you see a lot of in hoax ghost footage. Other paranormal investigators believe the footage could be real, noting it could be genuine evidence of poltergeist activity. In mid-2013, an eerie woman was spotted by security cameras in Bogota, Colombia. 3 separate CCTV cameras spotted the ghostly figure wandering down the street. The woman appears to be dressed in an old maid's outfit. She walks a few steps, pauses, then walks another few steps and pauses again. Each of the 3 cameras capture her bizarre walking pattern. Ordinarily, this footage could be dismissed as merely a person walking strangely down the street. However, it's what happens when she reaches the end of the road that will give you chills. 2 of the 3 security cameras show the woman vanish. She just completely disappears. A local news station in Bogota investigated the area where the footage was taken and even invited a priest to comment on the incident. They found no plausible reason for the disappearance of the woman. This security camera footage from Japan began surfacing in mid-2016. It shows a man getting into a taxi, but what happens next will give you chills. As the man enters the taxi, some kind of dark figure follows him. The entity has long black hair and is wearing a dress with a hunched over posture. It eerily clings to the man, then vanishes into the side of the vehicle. This is some old footage uploaded to YouTube more than 10 years ago. It's taken from a Japanese documentary series that looks at famous ghost footage. In the video, we see a young girl sitting in front of a mirror brushing her hair. A woman calls out, getting the young girl's attention. As she turns around, her reflection on the right pauses. It doesn't follow the little girl's movement at all. This footage has been analysed dozens of times over the years. Some critics have noted that it could easily have been manipulated in post-production, taking multiple shots and splicing them together. Others maintain that the footage is real and hasn't been tampered with in any way. Some believe it to be solid evidence of a paranormal world that humans can't normally perceive. There's not a lot of background information on this video other than it's from an unknown reality TV show. Uploaded to YouTube more than 10 years ago, the video shows a man exploring a cemetery in Mexico. In the darkness, he begins to hear a young girl crying. When the man yells out, the little girl cries out for her mum. He searches in the darkness, desperate to find the disembodied voice. This goes on for several minutes as the man gets more and more terrified. Finally, he spots an eerie figure sitting by a grave. It looks like a young girl with long black hair wearing a white dress. She moans "Mum," then turns to the camera revealing glowing eyes with grey, gaunt facial features. The man runs scared and screaming into the dark of the night. Unfortunately, that's all the information we can find on this video. Supposedly, it's from a Mexican reality TV show. The producers of the show heard stories from locals that mysterious crying was emanating from the local cemetery at nighttime. The host of the show decided to investigate, and this is the footage. Allegedly, the host was so traumatized by the experience that he had to get therapy.
Fresh pants please, that was a little bit terrifying. What do you think? Love to hear your thoughts, leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the content. If you're new, remember to subscribe because we do stuff like this each and every week. And that's it for me, I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some chilling paranormal footage. From spirits haunting the halls of old hospitals to a ghost train caught in Russia. Join us as we take a look at 10 terrifying ghost sightings caught on camera.
This is some chilling footage captured in an old hospital in Honduras. While visiting the teaching hospital at night, a student heard some strange noises and decided to start filming. In the clip, we see a dimly lit corridor with several stretcher beds lined along the walls. Out of one of the doors, a disembodied head suddenly appears. It looks at the camera for a second, then retracts behind the door. It appears again and begins to lurch down the hallway with a strange limp. The student, who must be terrified, retreats into a darkened room. Reports say that the hospital is haunted by a doctor who took his life many years ago. Students and visitors often give accounts of strange shadows, flickering lights, and an eerie feeling of always being watched. Could this be the spirit of the doctor who tragically committed suicide all those years ago? This strange clip was uploaded to YouTube in 2013. It's allegedly taken from a security camera in the Russian metro station Poletsevskaya. In the footage, we see a transparent train pull up to the platform during what looks like a fairly busy period. You can see passengers walking on the platform on the far right, however they don't seem to take any notice of the ghostly train. The translucent locomotive seems to let off several shadowy figures before taking off down the rail line. What could this be? A clever editing job or a ghostly imprint of a train from years gone by? Here's some CCTV footage taken in an unknown grocery store. It shows a shopping trolley eerily wheel across the room. At first it's easy to think that someone has pushed it off camera, but then it turns and wheels up a ramp all on its own. Could this be an elaborate setup with strings pulling the shopping cart? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. This is some really creepy footage that started spreading around the internet in 2015. The clip was filmed by two guys looking out the window of their apartment. They started filming when they noticed a strange figure walking through the graveyard adjacent to their apartment block. In the footage, we see what appears to be a lady dressed in white. She walks eerily from tombstone to tombstone, touching her head against the graves. The two men try and get her attention by yelling out, but she takes no notice. At one point, she takes a flower from one of the graves, smells it, then walks somberly through the yard. She even begins skipping and dancing on one tombstone to the next, completely oblivious to the world around her. Finally, she walks behind a large gravestone monument and disappears completely, never to be seen again. The two men continue filming for some time, but fail to spot the eerie lady ever again. This footage was captured by paranormal investigators after they were called to search a suspected haunted house. This house, located in Rowlands Gill, England, is notoriously haunted and known by local residents as a paranormal hotbed. Paranormal investigator Terry Johnson was asked to perform a study on the house to see if they could find any evidence of a haunting. Terry and his crew set up several cameras around the house, and at around 10:20 PM on the Sunday night, they asked for the spirits to reveal themselves. Moments later, a chair moved on its own right in front of the camera. If you take a look at the footage, you can see some strange lights and all-black objects floating around the room. Then suddenly the chair moves. After being interviewed by the Newcastle Chronicle, Terry said he was gobsmacked by what they had captured on film. Since then, the footage has been spread around the internet, causing a lot of discussion on social media. Many find the footage a little too convenient, calling it a hoax, while others believe it to be genuine evidence of the existence of ghosts and an afterlife. This is some security footage taken in an unknown hospital. It appears to show the moment a spirit lifts up from a body. Reports claim that this is the exact moment the person lying in the bed passed away. As you can see, some kind of vapour seems to lift up from the body and drift down the hallway. It's hard to make further comment on this video as there's next to no information available. The location is unknown and no medical staff or security staff have come forward to verify the footage. While the origins of the footage are unclear, it's hard to deny the startling nature of the clip. Could this actually be the moment a soul leaves the human body? This is some CCTV footage captured in a hospital in West Bengal in early March 2017. Allegedly, this security camera overlooks the outside area of the morgue. Hundreds of dead bodies pass in and out of this facility every day. In the footage, we see a trolley bed begin to move all on its own. It slides back and forth in an erratic motion. Finally, it falls off the pavement into the garden. The clip then cuts to a second security camera. Here we see an employee filling a bottle up at a water tap. As he approaches the trolley bed, it suddenly shifts backwards as if moved by some unseen force. The employee is clearly startled and heads in the opposite direction. When uploaded to YouTube, this piece of footage caused quite a stir among the paranormal community. Many enthusiasts were quick to analyse the footage, hoping to debunk or explain the footage in some way. Theories sprung up suggesting it's nothing more than string tied to the bed designed as a prank to scare co-workers. Others think the movements are too erratic for string and are simply dumbfounded by the clip, struggling to give it a rational explanation. When this clip went viral in 2016, it caused quite a stir across social media and forums. This security camera captures a hooded man walking down a hallway. What happens next is the stuff of nightmares. It would appear some kind of spirit or demon appears out of nowhere and pushes the man to the ground, then drags him down the hallway. The entity then vanishes as the man runs for his life. Many commentators and paranormal enthusiasts have analysed this footage with little to no solid conclusions. Some say the shadows don't react naturally, raising suspicion of a fake, while others are true believers, saying that this is a real poltergeist attack caught on camera. The man in the footage has never come forward, however, so it's hard to make further comment without his testimony. While on air, Albanian radio show Club FM captured something truly startling during an interview. As the two hosts go about their work, a newspaper inexplicably flies off the table. There's little to no explanation for this event, and it's left the hosts dumbfounded. The footage keeps rolling, and as you can see, everyone is stunned by the bizarre occurrence. It doesn't look like string is attached to the paper in any way, and it doesn't look like a burst of air either. The host even picks up the papers soon after to take a look, as he seems more startled than anyone. If anyone can translate what they're saying in the clip, please let us know, as we'd love to understand their reaction a little more. When this paranormal investigation team searched a heritage-listed English mansion, they couldn't have known the startling footage they would capture. Wentworth Woodhouse is a palatial estate located in Wentworth, South Yorkshire. It's considered the largest privately owned residence in the United Kingdom. Initially built in the 18th century as a centre for political influence, the enormous Jacobean house fell into disrepair in the latter part of the 20th century. Since then, it's been a reported hotbed for paranormal activity. In this clip, we see the paranormal investigation team from the reality TV show Most Haunted searching a stable area of the Wentworth property. After hearing what sounded like footsteps, they ask for the spirits to show themselves. In the distance, you can see what looks like a transparent man walking up the stairs in the opposite direction. The two hosts react and chase the figure down the dark corridor. They quickly look in all the surrounding rooms but find nothing. When the episode aired, host Yvette Fielding described the footage as the most groundbreaking footage we've ever recorded. The Most Haunted crew have been making episodes and chasing ghosts for over 15 years, and this is the most compelling footage they've ever captured. The audience were divided as to what exactly the show had captured on film. Skeptics noted that the ghostly figure looks remarkably like co-host Stuart, as you can see in a tweet from John Donis. Also for me, the two men's reactions seem a little disingenuous, especially if it's the first solid bit of evidence they've captured in 15 years. Others, however, were floored by the footage, hailing it as a turning point in paranormal investigation. What do you think the Most Haunted team have captured? Is it just a transparent video overlay, or is it genuine evidence of an afterlife? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.
Fresh pants please, that was a little bit terrifying. If you want to watch more of our content, there's a playlist right there, or you can subscribe because we do stuff like this each and every week. And that's it for me, I'll see you all next time.
near-death moments caught on tape. From a plane that nearly lands on top of a sunbather to a photographer almost eaten by a crocodile. Join us as we take a look at 10 near-death moments caught on tape. This amazing footage from a security camera in Southeast Asia shows a woman working at a roadside shop. As a car arrives to place an order, watch what happens as the woman takes the food to the car. A group of curious onlookers on hand to film a condemned building being destroyed. They think they're at a safe distance away from the destruction, but watch what happens next. This footage captures the moment an oblivious woman tries to walk right across a competition ski slope. This hair-raising footage captured on a German beach shows a plane attempting to touch down. The pilot later admitted he may have misjudged the landing. A security camera at a train station in New South Wales, Australia managed to catch this unbelievable footage. A woman jumps onto a moving train as her friend looks on in disbelief. The friend, not knowing if she made the jump safely or not, has to wait nervously for the train to pass. The seemingly lifeless woman eventually begins to move and makes her way back onto the platform. This footage taken by a train spotter shows a fellow enthusiast so focused on the train he's filming that he forgets to look the other way. This clip taken in Costa Rica shows a man photographing crocodiles from the shore of a river as his friends bait the animals closer, throwing food into the water. The patient manhunters bide their time, waiting for the right moment to strike. This extraordinary footage was taken from a dashboard camera. What it captures is simply unbelievable. CCTV in the Czech Republic captures this extremely close call as a pensioner makes his way through a level crossing. If you look closely, the train gets so close that the guy's shoe flies off. And what's the deal with the person driving the car? They just sit and watch as an old dude nearly gets cleaned up by a train. Then, when the boom gate opens, they just start to drive around him. This footage of a plane load of skydivers is truly amazing. As they prepare to jump, the unthinkable happens. Somehow, the pilot manages to escape the flaming wreck and deploy his parachute. Unbelievably, all 9 skydivers and the pilot make it to the ground safely. They wait nervously as the pilot of the first plane attempts to land his damaged aircraft. Astonishingly, all 11 manage to survive this horrendous mid-air incident that could have easily ended in disaster. Whew, them some close calls. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Now if you're new to the channel, hit that big old red subscribe button because we have content just like this coming out each and every week. And this is the Clapton signing